Trying to say, oh, there is a renters association in your box.
The work is worthwhile, and so we keep doing it. So I'm glad you feel that. I told you my wife was an educator, but she's, by the way, she was a librarian. Good evening, everyone. As the hour is exactly 6:30, unfortunately, right now we do not have any officers of the board here currently. So with that, I will call the meeting, the planning board meeting of Tuesday, May 5th, to order at exactly 6:30. And with that, I am going to hand it over to the board and ask that the board select a chair pro tem until the chair arrives. I'd accept a nomination for anyone.
I would nominate Rich.
So Rich,
Oh, we can't.
Rich cannot.
That's right. Neither can I.
I'll second it.
As I have a motion for Gary and I have a second. All in favor?
I haven't been seated.
Oh, that's right, you are not seated. So it is all in favor. Gary, you are,
What about the nays?
are there any opposed? Gary, you have lost.
Charlie's coming.
But if, Charlie should be here. He's going to be maybe 15 to 20 minutes late. He is at a funeral. But
Okay. So, Scott, would you call the attendance, please?
Yes, in attendance this evening, we have Dave Olet, Rich McNeil, Counselor Mike Conant, Doreen Richards, Gary Dion, Jacob Roy, Mike Little, Planning Director Rob Moore, Assistant Planning Director Tyler Carmichael, Planner Technician Scott Pelchat will be taking minutes tonight.
Okay,
Gary?
thank you. Do we have vacant slots that we could seat an alternate?
We have two.
We have two. Therefore, Mr. Little, you could be seated as a regular voting member.
Thank you, sir.
Your first name was
Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, I'm Mike.
Okay. Thank you. We had minutes posted to us. Are there any amendments, changes, or adjustments that anyone has for us? Seems not. Is there a motion to approve them as written?
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any debate on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor, raise your hand. Anybody opposed? Seems to carry unanimously. Okay, so we have continued applications and a public hearing for formal consideration. PB 2026-031, 33 White Oaks Road. Is the application in order and ready for acceptance at this point?
it is.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the application for hearing?
I'll make a motion to accept PB 2026-031.
A second for that? Dennis seconds that. Any debate on the motion? There being none, all those in favor, raise your hands. Okay, records show everyone voted yes. Okay, then we'll hear from the applicant.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Neil Hansen. I'm a project manager with Ty and Bonds. We're the civil engineers for this project. So the proposed project is a residential subdivision at 33 White Oaks Road. The existing lot is approximately 17 acres and has a single-family residence on it up along the frontage of White Oaks Road. The lot is a pretty long and narrow road going from west to east away from White Oaks Road. The lot is bisected by a wetland complex about halfway down the lot. This project is proposed to stay west of that wetland buffer and wetland complex, so we're not impacting any of those wetlands or buffers. The lot is also bisected by two different zoning districts. On the west, closest to White Oaks Road, is the CR Commercial Resort District, and to the east is the Residential Rural 1 District. We previously got a zoning variance to extend that CR zoning requirements an additional 400 feet where the regulations allow for 100 feet. beyond that zoning line, so that extended the CR zone essentially past where that wetland starts. So that puts the entire development area within the same zone. Makes designing and permitting a lot easier when you're only dealing with one set of dimensional regulations. So the proposed plan is to subdivide the existing lot into what will be 26 new lots. There will be 24 single-family home lots. One of the lots will be dedicated for stormwater management, and then the remaining portion of the lot makes up the 26th portion of that subdivision. Coming off of White Oaks Road will be what is proposed to be called Ventura Drive. It's about 700 foot long, ending with a cul-de-sac. And then off of that is a second road. Proposed name is Serenity Drive, which is another 400 foot long cul-de-sac. All of the 24 lots are off of those two roads. We were here last month where a waiver request was denied regarding sidewalks for the project. So the plans that were resubmitted have added a sidewalk along the frontage of White Oaks Road, as well as along both the proposed Ventura and Serenity Drives from White Oaks to the cul-de-sacs. As far as stormwater management, we are proposing 3 rain gardens spread out throughout the development. This is a pretty hilly lot, so we've been able to grade the roadway to direct the stormwater flow to one of the 3 rain gardens for stormwater treatment. Those rain gardens will also help mitigate the peak runoff rates to get below the existing condition of off-site flow. This project also requires an alteration of terrain permit through NHDES. That was submitted a couple months ago, 2.5 months ago maybe. We have received comments from them as well. Their comments and the responses to those comments have been incorporated into this plan set as well. So we don't anticipate any further changes from NHDES through the approval with them as far as stormwater management goes. As far as utilities, we're bringing sewer and water in from White Oaks Road. Those are shown on our utility plan. And then electric service is also coming off of White Oaks Road, and that will be all underground throughout the proposed development. We had been to TRC a couple of times and worked through the city staff comments that we received there. And I think all of those comments have been addressed as part of this submission. I did notice that the proposed condition 1 is that all those comments would need to be addressed. So I believe we have addressed them, but obviously that would be confirmed with staff, assuming we receive your approval here tonight. That is really all I have as far as presentation goes. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Well, I'll start off. Of those 3 rain gardens, 2 of them appear to be on lots where there'll be buildings, and
Yes.
one is not. So those lots would be properly marked so the new homeowner would not fill or try to expand their yard or anything?
Yeah, so you are correct. So rain garden, I believe it's 1, 2, and 3 left to right on the plans. Yes, we actually put them in order for once. So rain garden 1 is on the left side of the sheet, so that's closest to White Oaks Road.
Right.
That is on its own lot.
Yep.
And we'll have an easement which will be to the benefit of the homeowners association, which will be established as part of this development. Rain garden 2 will be within a drainage easement on proposed lot 19. So there will be an easement, a drainage easement associated with that lot that will go with the future deed of that lot. And then similarly, rain garden 3 is actually split between 2 lots. So both of those lots will also have a drainage easement on it. And then there are 3 lots leading up to it for stormwater conveyance. They'll have a swale kind of running along the rear property line of lots 13, 14, and 15, and those will also have easements associated with the deeds for those lots.
Okay. I was out there looking around, not walking on the property, but looking as well as I could from public space. Looks like there's a swale that runs out from Hillcrest, going from the north to the south. A big runoff area there. Is that like on the back side of the developed area? It's kind of like where the commercial resort zone changes to rural residential.
Mm-hmm. I am not entirely sure where you
It's
are
pretty
referencing.
evident on Hillcrest. when you're driving over it, because it culverts under.
I looked at that too, and I think, you're right, I think it's right on that line where it ends, and it turns into RR.
Yeah, and it kind of runs towards that mobile home park, and everything runs downhill from there, too.
I think it's further back.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of the.
Is it further back on the lot? Staff, you could jump in if you know.
Yeah, it's at the further end of the lot, all the way back in
It
the
is.
RR2 section.
It is that far back?
Yeah.
Okay. It was hard to tell when I was on Hillcrest. Okay.
There's no, yeah. There's no
No, they're not developing that far.
The entirety of this property is in Laconia, correct?
Yes.
Because that
Yep.
mobile home park is in Guilford.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, in the rear of this lot actually abuts, strangely enough, Walmart.
Yes, I
Because
know
Walmart is
that.
actually technically in Laconia,
Yes. Oh,
Half of it, right?
part of it.
part of it,
Okay.
the part of it that requires police response.
Nice, good planning. All right. And all of Paugus Place, is that the name of it? Paugus Bay Plaza, that's entirely in Guilford, too?
That,
Yeah,
yeah,
correct.
it's in Guilford.
Okay. Just to make things really clear.
Yep.
Okay.
And
thanks.
half the street is in the Guilford and half the street is in Laconia, but Laconia maintains the street. Just to muddy that water.
Yeah,
I know that's not relevant, but, you know.
okay. All right, other members of the board have questions for the applicant?
I just have a question for staff. I'm really glad to see sidewalks as part of the plan now. Do sidewalks have a meaningful impact on runoff where the water study would be kind of impacted by the presence of sidewalks compared to just a road? Is that something for us to consider?
Yes, so actually, they did update their
We
stormwater
updated,
drainage
yeah.
report to account for the sidewalk.
So these numbers account for sidewalks in
Correct.
space? Thank you.
Yes.
Other questions?
I don't know if this is for staff or for the engineering firm. Is this gonna be a city street, or is this gonna be a private road?
We are going to try to get the city to accept it, but my understanding is that's a city council decision.
Correct.
Okay.
The city
Yep.
council would have to determine whether or not they want to accept the road.
So it's stated in the subdivision regulations about the process that they would go through for the street acceptance.
They'll build it to city standards and
Yep.
then hopefully get it accepted.
Yep, and at a certain point in the development, they'd have to petition the city, and there's a process for that, and it'd go before city council for their ultimate determination.
I probably missed the notation, but all the utilities are underground?
Correct.
Electric, cable, and all that?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions by members of the board for the applicant? Okay, then. Thank you. Then we will open up for public hearing at whatever time it is, 6:43. Anyone from the public, abutters, or anyone like to speak for or against this? If you'd introduce yourself and where you live?
Scott and Trish, we have 43 White Oaks.
Okay.
It's the only one that abuts this on the
Okay.
northern side.
You're the downhill property?
Uphill.
Uphill. So
Okay.
it'll abut lots 1 through 9.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So our concerns are about, I guess, the landscaping. Is there going to be another meeting for that?
This is it.
This is
This
it?
is it, oh, thank you.
Okay. So they're building 15 feet from our property line. We're not against it. They're awful close to our house.
So my concern would be a backyard that's 15 feet, they're going to most certainly, like pets, kids, wander right into our
Is
yard.
your house the one that's set way back?
The orange one,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We didn't make the other meeting because we didn't get the notice.
It went to the
I
wrong
didn't miss
piece.
anything.
The first meeting about adjusting the lines.
Yeah.
We didn't meet that one.
Okay.
Make
All
that
right.
one.
So we
So-
just want to be sure there's some sort of buffer, whether it's a privacy fence, something. I just can't have kids and pets running through our yard, liability, and we're losing, which I understand, you know, things happen. But it is completely tree-lined and wooded, so we're losing that, but I just need some sort of The houses are so close to where our home is and where our backyard is.
And then when they're cutting the trees, it'd be nice to leave some of the trees for a buffer, but if they're only building 15 feet from the property line, you gotta have a place to work.
Yeah,
So I know
so I
they're
don't
gonna have to
think they
clear
can.
that, so they'll be clearing probably up to our property.
And we just need to be sure that not one of our trees are touched. Like, that's
Like,
very
if we can mark
important.
it somehow, because there's a lot of greens there, so it kind of buffers.
I would imagine if there isn't yet, there will be a lot of flagging going on there.
There is some flagging now, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the boundary line and then the 15-foot line from the boundary line.
And if you had questions about your boundary, now you have a very clear delineation.
Oh,
there.
absolutely. It's pretty much where we thought it was, 'cause
Okay.
we did some
Good.
measuring.
All right. Well, yeah, the regulations call for a 15-foot setback there, so they can't build any closer than that. They've got, I don't know if you saw the plans, but
Yes.
they've got some proposed building locations within the building area
So they're
permitted.
proposed, they're not exact.
Correct.
Okay.
They've got latitude. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's ledge there or anything that would cause them to have to move or shift, but.
Sure, sure.
So
But-
probably being in touch with the developer wouldn't be a bad idea
Yeah.
to give some input.
Yeah, and we're just one property, but they have 9 properties abutting us, so we're actually,
Yeah, yours is a
9
pretty
abutters
deep
to
lot,
1.
yeah.
yeah, it goes back quite a ways.
Yeah, I was surprised to see your house. I said, I didn't even know that was there.
Well, I've been doing some yard work, cleaning up out front, so you can see it now.
Yes, okay, great.
But that was our concerns. I mean, the development, we're fine with that, and it's gonna happen, it's their land, but we just don't want it right on top of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you can get the developer's card or something to be in touch.
We actually
with-
met them last meeting
Okay.
where there was nothing explained except for a sidewalk.
Okay,
So,
Yep.
that's our concern.
okay,
Right, some
Thank you.
sort of, something to keep them, whoever buys those homes encroaching into our yard.
And if they can put a fence up, that'd be great too.
Yep. well, some people might want their own fence, no doubt.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
I
You're
think
welcome.
most of these residences, where they have them delineated on the plan right now, are further than 15 feet from the lot line.
okay.
I think the engineer can probably speak to that, but
I think it's,
it,
Rich, I think it's mostly along the second
the
cul-de-sac,
second cul-de-sac,
Serenity, yeah.
toward the back is where.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
Those are
slightly smaller.
closer.
Yep,
The first bunch are quite a ways away, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I first looked at.
I know we've
when-
seen a few of the plans, a few of the drawings, so.
Yeah, it's just lots 6 through 9 that are gonna be on top of us, so
The far back ones.
something to keep, there's no way no one's going to come through if they only have a 15
Right.
feet or so in their backyard, 15 to 20 feet, say. There's no way that their dogs and cats and children are gonna run all over into our yard. So,
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
Yep.
Point taken, appreciate that.
thanks.
Other people in the audience? Yes,
I have a question for staff.
sure.
Can we, as a planning board, ask the developer for some type of a fence as part of the development?
We can ask anything.
You can ask. I would like just to point out, this is not a cluster subdivision. This is a conventional subdivision, so these would be individual lots owned all the way, unlike clusters that require a buffer, conventional subdivisions do not.
It's just if there was some type of a evergreen buffer, that's not gonna address the issue of people traversing from their new backyard into their neighbor's backyard. And I just didn't know if we could request that of the builders, of the developer on those lots.
It's probably worth having a discussion with them if that's something you're very concerned about, to see if there's some negotiation in there for that.
I guess I would be concerned, but if the rest of the board isn't concerned, I guess I would, you know,
I think it's stepping over a bit because of the conventional subdivision regulations, but that's just me following what's written in the.
If it was a cluster, I think the board would have more of a latitude as a part of their conditions as a conditional use permit to require that. But they're not seeking a conditional use permit, it's a permitted by right.
Okay.
It's just a conventional subdivision. I think it's,
thank you.
you're welcome.
I would just think that if I were one of those lots 6 through 9, because it's small, I might want a fence for myself to contain and give me privacy and in what space I've got there. So,
I think with
So
the
we could-
builder knowing that there is concern for that, the communications didn't happen with the new homeowners and the tenants and the next.
okay. I'm gonna turn the gavel over to the chairman.
Should we finish this one first
We probably should
before we
finish
do
this
that?
one. All right,
I think
then.
that's
Okay.
I'm
I'm
just
just,
storing.
I'm just anxious to exit the chair.
And just so you know, Mr. Chair, you still have the public hearing open,
Yeah.
so you would have to,
I know.
oh, okay, all right, just making sure.
After his comments, we're gonna see if anyone else would like to speak either for or against, or for any purpose whatsoever relevant to this application. Anyone here? Going once, twice? Then we'll close the public hearing at 6:50. Now we can deliberate. So if we have concerns about fencing or green space, this is a good time to chat and inquire of the developer, the engineer, as to whether or not they might be interested in doing something, or
I found the revisions actually pretty conclusive. I think he's done a significant, job of meeting the requests and requirements of TRC and of the planning board planning department thus far. The only question I have, and this might be for the staff, is that the initial staff report says 25 units and it is 26, correct? 24 building and 2 not. I just want to make sure that the language matches. Did it say 25, but in the
Well,
application it's 26 with 24 and 2? Does that matter? I just want to make sure that,
it's 24 houses.
and 2
And
other
then,
lots.
and then the undeveloped rain garden lot at the beginning, and then the big remaining lot at the back.
Right, which is
So
what the application
That
shows,
makes the
right?
26.
Yeah, so the application,
Says 26, but the staff report says 25, I think. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
so the application I have here says 25 with 24 buildings.
Okay.
That's the one that was on the agenda?
I can maybe offer some clarity there, if I may. So when we originally submitted to TRC, it was only 25 lots with 24 houses. And then the discussion of that back parcel came up from the assessor, that we had sort of landlocked it. So we had to reconfigure the lot lines to sort of reincorporate that and maintain frontage to that rear lot. So that's how it ended up is 26 lots. There's only 24 houses. So I think that's where the disconnect may have came in.
Gotcha.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure it was clear that we all had the same.
So you just want to note that as an administrative correction on the staff
Yeah.
report?
Yeah,
There's a right-of-way or a access point to the backland?
Yes, that lot 26 has frontage on the cul-de-sac on Serenity Drive.
On Serenity.
Yeah, the cul-de-sac on the top, north.
Yeah.
So it goes off the page on sheet C201.1. So there is a wetland there, so there's no way to access that without significant wetland permitting, so it's really just for frontage on paper.
By lot 9? Or
Yes,
south
between lots 10 and 11.
Between 10 and 11.
So in between the
Oh.
two cul-de-sacs?
That's
there's-
proposed lot
Thank you,
26, yeah.
Thank you, I see that.
So that's the remainder parcel that goes off the page to the right.
So when you were talking about one of the rain gardens straddling 2 lots,
Yes.
that's the 2 lots?
Straddling 16 and
Thank you.
26, yes, correct.
Okay, got it. Okay.
I was just gonna say, I know in the last meeting there was mention of it being public roads, but I do see in the new one that it does mention the HOA with the condition of 1.3, so I appreciate that, and then they'll present that as needed to the council, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Other than that,
Any other
any other comments?
closing comments? Staff report?
You got it. So for findings of fact, the application is complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The zoning board of adjustment approved a variance to increase the application of the CR district boundary from 100 feet to 500 feet at its November 17th, 2025 meeting. The initial submission was reviewed by the technical review committee at its February 17th, 2026 meeting. The applicant agreed to revise their submission in accordance with the TRC's recommendations in return for a second TRC review. The revised submission was reviewed by the TRC at its March 17th, 2026 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval. The planning board denied the waiver request for section 6.6 6.2 and 6.6.8.1 of the subdivision regulations at its April 7th, 2026 meeting. The board voted to continue its review of the application and public hearing to May 5th, 2026 to provide the applicant time to submit a revised application. The applicant submitted an updated plan set and drainage analysis report on April 28th, 2026 to incorporate the addition of sidewalks on all internal and abutting roads. And for the staff recommended conditions of approval, for pre-construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be completed at least 2 weeks prior to commencing any work on site. Plans must be revised and submitted to the planning department in accordance with all recommendations identified by the TRC at its February 17th, 2026 and March 17th, 2026 meetings. The final subdivision plat must be revised to include the approved street names. The applicant must submit a performance guarantee for site improvement and restoration security of the planning department in accordance with the current subdivision and site plan review regulations. HOA documents must be submitted to the planning and assessing departments for review and approval. These documents must reflect the responsibilities of the association and individual property owners for all private water, sewer, drainage, solid waste, road maintenance, and fire services as required by the Technical Review Committee. These documents must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. The addresses for all lots must be updated by the Fire Department and Public Works to ensure compliance with RSA 231, 133, and 133-A. A 911 addressing plan must be submitted to the Planning Department for review and approval with the final plan set. The applicant must possess all required permits and approvals granted by federal, state, municipal boards or agencies. All permits and approvals must be in place prior to the signing and recording of the final plans in Mylar. Should any permit or approval be revoked at any time during the project, all work must cease until a new permit or approval is obtained. Copies of all permits and approvals must be provided by the applicant to the planning department. Four final plan sets and a Mylar plan must be submitted to, reviewed, and approved by the planning department. The Mylar plan and notice of action must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. Erosion controls must be in place and inspected and approved by the planning department. The planning department will perform regular inspections to ensure erosion controls are installed and maintained correctly. All easements required by the TRC at its February 17th, 2026 and March 17th, 2026 meetings must be submitted to the planning department for review and approval prior to recording at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. A pre-construction meeting must be held between the developer and representatives from city departments. The applicant must coordinate this meeting through the planning department. All requirements in this section must be completed prior to the pre-construction meeting. For construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met during the construction of the project. The applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Fire Department. The applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Water Department. And the planning department will perform routine inspections during and after construction to ensure compliance with the planning board's approval and all applicable regulations. For post-construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy. Impact fees in the amount of $9,653.67 per new single-family dwelling unit must be paid to the planning department in accordance with state law and the Laconia zoning ordinance. A final as-built design, application, and fee for the project must be submitted to the planning department for review and approval. All internal streets will remain private unless accepted by the city council in accordance with state law and local regulations. All solid waste collection, snow removal, and maintenance services for the internal streets must be provided by the HOA while under private ownership. All rain gardens, detention and retention ponds, and drainage structures leading to and from the gardens and ponds must be properly maintained by the HOA. And the project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than May 5th, 2033. If all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date, this approval will be null and void.
Thank you. Any questions on the staff report?
I have a question.
Shoot.
Thank you. And I may have missed this, and I apologize, but 2033, did they give a completion date in your own minds? Will it be before 2033, or, I don't know if the staff,
We hope very much so, yes.
so rough idea, or?
I don't, plan is to start construction as soon as we can get all of our permits in hand, so this year,
27, okay.
I would say within 2 or 3 years at the most.
I'm sure there'll be people biting at the bit to get up there, so hopefully, so, yeah. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for the staff? Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve application PB-2026-031 for 33 White Oak Road. And I'll second it, because I can.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve it with the staff reports.
Can I just ask a clarifying question? Is that with the findings of fact and conditions of approval?
That is correct.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. I thought so.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Any debate on the motion? There being none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the approval, please raise your hand. All those opposed? And it passes. So perhaps you'll chat with a neighbor about some kind of screening or beginnings of screening, whether it be fence, whether it be greenery or something. And
Thank you.
mind the trees across the border, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Charlie,
Thank you.
you have the gavel.
It was nice to vote. I haven't voted in years. Never mind seconding something. So that was kind of exciting.
All right.
Okay, so thank you for indulging me being late, too. So now we're on 8, new applications and public hearings. So we'll go to 8.1 PB 2026-042 Kingsman Drive, 391-220-18. The applicant is proposing to amend their current multi-family site to add one more duplex. Look for a motion to accept.
Are you,
Look for a motion to accept the application. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to accept the application.
Okay, thank you. Second? Okay. Mr. Little, second. 2 new members here. I got to get used to all these people here, so.
By the way, Mr. Little was seated as a voting member,
Oh, he is. I wondered.
since there was a vacancy among full-time members,
Okay.
so.
We have this young lady over here, too.
Hi, Doreen Richards.
Yeah, well,
Good to
thank you,
see
Doreen. Okay, so, have
Mr.
at
Chair,
it.
we need to
Oh,
vote.
we got to vote. All in favor? After all those niceties? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, if I get your name and address?
Good evening, Seth McClellan from the Taylor community with Sarah Werty from Du Bois and King Engineering. Kinsman Drive Cottages, we are proposing a new duplex to our site plan. Taylor community, just for everyone's reference, continuing care retirement community here in town. I'm sure a lot of you know, nonprofit, and we are just looking to add to our cottages on our Laconia campus here by 1 duplex, 2 units.
We do have a presentation. Can you guys see that?
Okay.
1 second. Now we can.
No, our talking's more important. Just in case, I made pretty graphics. So we are here tonight to talk about map 391, block 220, lot 18, which is off of Union Ave in Laconia. You guys are probably pretty familiar with the lot. It is 92 acres. It is in the urban, commercial, and residential single-family zones. The urban commercial is just like an offset of Union Ave, so it's a small portion of the total lot. Our project is fully within the residential single-family zone, where duplexes are an allowed use. And as Seth mentioned, the current use is continuing care, retirement community, and residential. There are other duplexes similar to the one we're proposing on the lot. The lot is served by a private extension of municipal utilities, municipal water and sewer. An 8-inch sewer main is present, and 8-inch ductile iron water serve the site. So we've provided just some, to set the scene, a couple images from, if you're standing on Kinsman Drive looking towards Union Ave. It is a vacant lot with some tree stands, but mostly some lawn area.
And the lower picture there, you can see that is the closest abutter and probably the most impacted. And I had conversations with her, and she, I explained everything to her, and she was okay with everything. So I didn't know if we'd see her here tonight, but I did have conversations with her because I figured she would have the most questions.
I guess we show her house is right here. That is the house that you can see in the picture. So the proposed condition, 1 building with 2 units. It will be ground level entry from Kinsman with a walkout basement. It's the construction of 1 duplex with a shared driveway, grading, drainage improvements, and underground utilities. So we just provided some of the architectural renderings so you could see what the beautiful house is going to look like, and then the side profile to show the walkout. Then utilities, through the TRC process, and prior to that, we worked with Ben at Waterworks and Nate at DPW to make sure that we designed the water and sewer extensions to their liking. So we're proposing to connect into the water on the other side of the road, a 1-inch water main that will split to two 1-inch services. And then the sewer extension will be slightly off the page, an 8-inch SDR 35 sewer main to 6-inch services, and then ending with a manhole at the end. Cleanouts will be provided for each service, and water shutoffs for each water service. One of the items that we heard the most about during TRC was snow storage, because this lot is used for snow storage for a bulk of the Taylor community development. So hearing that, we increased the snow storage that we're showing on our plans, just to think about where can we actually put it, where is it gonna drain to, and just making sure we thought about that through this process. So we plan to grade out and flatten an area adjacent to the home for snow storage, and then put some snow storage across the road. This fence will be removed if necessary. And what this allows is, so not only do we have to think about where are we gonna store the snow, but when it melts, where is that drainage gonna go? So these positions allow for this snow storage area to drain to an existing detention pond, this snow storage to drain to an existing detention pond. And then this snow storage area will drain to an existing conveyance swale and treatment swale, which you will hear me talk a lot about in the rest of the presentation. But so these places have been thoughtfully chosen to make sure that we aren't piling snow and causing runoff to an area that's not part of the design. So in the existing site conditions, as part of a 2019 AOT permit associated with the presidential cottages and the Woodside building, a treatment swale was designed and constructed west of our site. Then after that, hearing some concerns from the abutter, Taylor Community extended the swale all the way to Cole Street. So there is an existing conveyance swale that leads to a treatment swale to the west of our development. And as you just heard me say, AOT looks at a 10-year period. So even though our disturbance doesn't trigger AOT on its own, because the site had an AOT permit in the last 10 years, AOT permitting would be required. So we worked with AOT to design, excuse me, and design the stormwater treatment to meet their requirements, and then requested a waiver from the remaining AOT requirements. That was granted and is included in the package. So one of their concerns was, please don't add any more flow to the treatment swale. So we have designed the stormwater management to not contribute any additional flow to the conveyance or the treatment swale. Kind of skipped around a little bit. So the existing drainage, Kinsman generally flows northwest and west, and which is why the treatment swale was extended with a conveyance swale. So this generally flows to the west, to the conveyance swale, to the treatment swale, and then it discharges into a vegetated area that's part of conservation land, or a conservation easement on Taylor community land. I figured I would just show. So the graphic on the screen just kind of shows some flow arrows showing my thought process. The red arrow representing the conveyance swale, and the green arrow representing the treatment swale. Blue arrows showing the flow path. and then the yellow arrow at the end showing the ultimate discharge point. And then this is just an arrow to show you that it doesn't currently dump into anyone's backyard. It goes to a vegetated area, which does look like it has a lower wetland spot closer to Mechanic Street. So the proposed drainage, we are introducing one building with 2 units. And so we have to take into consideration the roof and the driveway. In working with AOT, they said that we did not have to treat the roof runoff, just the driveways, but we have to mitigate flows for both. So driveways are graded to 2 rain gardens that are gonna provide the treatment. Those rain gardens then have under drain, so once the water has been treated, the water will flow around and discharge to the south of the treatment swale, so that those flows are not making it to the treatment swale. They will discharge to the same conservation land. And then the roof runoff, we have a drip edge in the front and the rear of the building. The front of the building, because it's we'll have a drip edge, and then in 2 layers. So it has a drip edge to catch the roof runoff, and it has a second layer that is the foundation drain. There are vertical connection points at the 2 corners, and that ultimately connects to the drainage that outlets also to the south of the treatment swale. So the rain gardens outlet here, and the foundation drains and drip edges outlet here. We did a drainage model, and as you could see from the drainage report that we submitted, we are not increasing flows off-site. So we were able to achieve flow mitigation as well as treatment with 2 rain gardens and the drip edges. I just talked about this a little bit, but the only area that will be flowing towards the existing treatment swale is an area that already flows to the conveyance swale and treatment swale in current conditions, and no impervious surfaces are proposed there. I mentioned the AOT waiver was granted. The addition of the duplex does not increase the runoff flows to the existing treatment swale. We have incorporated rain gardens on either side of the driveway to provide treatment. And then between the rain gardens and the drip edge system, that is how we are capturing and treating the runoff. And that's what I've got.
I have a question.
Yes.
I've never gone around and looked at all these swales before. You put little signs up that say swale number 1, swale number 2, discharge swale over here. I'm serious. Do you do anything like that? Do they mark these things?
So
or?
we don't mark them, but we internally manage them. So we're maintaining them, whether it be mowing them or cleaning them out or checking for levels. We do that internally with our grounds department and our maintenance department, but we don't mark them and annotate them. We kind of, we hope that they kind of disappear within the campus, visibility wise. But no, we don't. We have fences around some of them on our campus, but none of them are labeled as to what they are.
So if you guys have enforcement go up there or something, they have a little chart that shows all this stuff, all these different swales? I mean, they're putting so much work into it, rightfully so, but nonetheless, I'm just curious.
When our project manager goes out there, he has an iPad with electronic plans. He also has paper plans. He knows where everything is.
Okay.
He's a smart gentleman.
I'm well aware of his pluses. Thank you. Okay, that's good. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah.
Gary?
I was in the neighborhood last week, drove around the corner there, and I think I eyeballed the proper space, but it seemed like there was a pretty good ground slope down, away. So is the siting of this going to be below grade, or is it going to be built up?
So the front part will be, because it has a full basement, that will kind of be built into the hill,
Okay.
whereas the first floor is going to be pretty level.
Okay.
As it's an older community, we don't wanna have like steps and ramps. We're trying to keep it pretty
Okay.
flat.
Okay. Thank you.
Satisfactory?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Stand by. We'll open up a public hearing at 7:15. Is there any abutters here that would like to come up and have any commentary, questions? Did I say we opened it at 7:15? Did I say that? Okay. Well, seeing none, we'll close it at 17:40. And thank you. Okay, go ahead, staff.
So the application is complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The submission was reviewed by the Technical Review Committee at its April 21st, 2026 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval. Those conditions are pre-construction requirements. All conditions in this section must be completed at least 2 weeks prior to commencing any work on site. The applicant must submit a performance guarantee for site improvement and restoration security to the planning department in accordance with the current site plan review regulations. Addresses for all units must be assigned by the fire department and public works to ensure compliance with RSA 231, 133, and 133-A. The applicant must possess all required permits and approvals granted by federal, state, municipal boards or agencies. All permits and approvals must be in place prior to the signing and recording of the final plans in Mylar. Should any permit or approval be revoked at any time during the project, all work must cease until a new permit or approval is obtained. Copies of all permits and approvals must be provided by the applicant to the planning department. I'll just make a note there that Mylar should not be in there, and there will be no recording of that. Administrative correction. 4 final plan sets must be submitted to, reviewed, and approved by the planning department. Erosion controls must be in place and inspected and approved by the planning department. The planning department will perform regular inspections to ensure erosion controls are installed and maintained correctly. For construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met during the construction of the project. The applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Fire Department. The applicant must adhere to all specifications as required by the Laconia Water Department. The planning department will perform routine inspections during and after construction to ensure compliance with the planning board's approval and all applicable regulations. For post-construction requirements, all conditions in this section must be met prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy. In accordance with 235-22.2 of the zoning ordinance, nonprofit entities are exempt from impact fee assessment. The applicant must provide the planning department with a current certificate of good standing issued by the New Hampshire Secretary of State to comply with the ordinance. If no certificate is provided, impact fees will be assessed at $8,166.30 per unit. A final as-built design application and fee for the project must be submitted to the planning department for review and approval. The project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than May 5th, 2033. If all conditions are not met nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date, this approval will be null and void. Thank you, Tom.
Very good. Any more questions? Last shot. Okay, I'll entertain a motion from somebody.
Move to accept application PB 2026-042 for Kinsman Drive as complete.
Second?
I'd recommend.
Counselor,
I was just going to say, so you guys have already accepted it. We're on motion 2.
Then,
To approve.
Then I
To
move to
approve.
approve application
Thank you.
PB 2026-042 for Kinsman Drive with the findings of fact and conditions of approval presented in the staff report.
For heaven's sakes, it's his first night. I
No,
didn't even pick it up.
I'll second it.
No, actually, Counselor Conan already did second that, so we're good with that. And, okay, all in favor? No more discussion. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Keep an eye on those swales.
We will.
Especially in a heavy rain we're gonna always keep getting around here now.
Right now.
Is it pouring out now? Of course it is. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is 8.2, it's PB 2026-043, colon 50, 66, and 84 Hayes Road. Hayes Road again. 126-181-7, -7.1, and .1. The applicant is proposing a boundary line adjustment between 3 parcels. I'll look for a motion to accept this.
If I
Do we
could-
have to accept it?
Mr. Chair, there is a waiver present for the application, so the board should take action on the waiver first. If they want to listen to the applicant discuss their waiver.
Goodness gracious, and what is the waiver for?
The waiver is from the subdivision regulations, section 6.6.2 sidewalks. The applicant is seeking waiver to waive the requirement to construct a sidewalk along each subject parcel.
Is this on Hayes Road for the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, anybody have anything they'd like to say about that?
I have a question. The new condos above the Broken Slope, are they putting a sidewalk along Hayes Road?
They are.
Only, not completely across it, partway up that lot.
They're putting it, the majority up their lot, yes. I think there's a few feet that they.
80.
80.
80 feet what?
80 feet short of the boundary line where we're proposing the boundary line adjustment.
And why is that? Why is it 80 feet short?
That's how it was proposed to the planning board.
Okay, because, can you refresh our memories on that?
I do not have the application in front of me. I would have to go back.
There's driveways from that condominium that go out onto Hayes Road, and where the furthest driveway is, that's where the sidewalk starts, goes down to.
So the driveway,
Route 3.
the driveway would be where that sidewalk isn't going to be?
Excuse me?
So the driveway is not on the side, the sidewalk is where a driveway, the driveway is where a sidewalk can't be because there's a driveway there?
No,
That's not the case.
no. There's two driveways,
Yeah.
access out onto Hayes Road. The sidewalk goes from the furthest one in on Hayes Road, down across the driveway, across the empty space there, across the other driveway, and then out to Route 3, so. But it is about 80 feet away from the boundary line of our lots, if you will. Is there ever gonna be a
It-
bridge of the two?
Well, that's a good question, and the reality is we have a lot of gaps in our sidewalks as they're being built.
It's a private road.
It's
That
a
is-
private road?
That is also a private road.
Okay, it's a private road. And so why are the other people putting a sidewalk in for whatever length
Because the planning board required them to put a sidewalk in.
on a private road?
Yes,
Okay,
on a subdivision.
Site plan.
on a private road,
Yes.
right. So no difference here.
I would make the argument that these are 3 existing lots and they're not adding to the lots. This is.
So they're just doing a boundary?
This is just a boundary line of adjustment. They're not
So why do we
creating.
need a waiver?
Because technically this is a subdivision.
Under state law, a boundary line adjustment is considered a subdivision, which kicks it up to your subdivision regulations, which requires sidewalks
And
on
that is
all
the
budding roads.
only reason why they're requesting, because
But there are no additional residents that are going in as a result of this boundary line of adjustment.
No.
You guys are making my arguments for me.
I'd still like to hear you just describe it, Peter.
Yes. If I may, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Again, Peter Howard from Du Bois and King. I brought a couple of pictures along here to show you what Hayes Road looks like. This is looking down the road. Hayes Road, there is an existing right-of-way for the road. It's a 2-rod right-of-way, which 2 times 16 and a half feet makes 33 feet in width. It is a gravel existing road, private road. I just wanted to point out the fact that on this side, these are the lots that we're proposing the boundary line adjustment on. On this side of the road, the edge of gravel is almost on the boundary line. It's very close. So there's actually no room on this side with the existing property that's available. The stone wall is back a little bit, but the stone wall is not the boundary line. So there's not much room there. If there was going to be a sidewalk, it would have to be on that right-hand side of that picture over there. You can see there's about 3-foot grade change between the existing road and where the sidewalk would have to be, there's also a drainage swale on that side of the road, which would have to be accommodated, and there are utility poles on that side. With 33 feet, about a 20-foot wide road, a little bit of room on this side, it really doesn't leave much room on that side even to put a sidewalk. And if you did, if you had to climb 3 feet to get up on it, you'd be 3 feet above the road in order to maintain that drainage ditch down there. If you brought it down to road level or closer to road level, you'd come up to driveways that have to go up over that bump, so you'd be, 2 feet down below, you'd have to bump up over the sidewalk. So physically, it would be difficult. But I think the point's already been made that earlier in the meeting, you talked about a subdivision that was gonna have, I don't know how many lots, 20 some odd lots, 24 houses. That's one parcel of land being subdivided into 24 other ones. What we're proposing is taking 3 lots amongst family and asking for an adjustment of the lots to meet the needs of the family.
So there are houses there now?
There are 2 houses on,
On the side there, okay, on the left side, yeah.
yeah, we're talking
Of the
about
picture.
what, 50 Hayes Road, 66 Hayes Road, and 84 Hayes Road. 50 Hayes Road has an existing house, 66 is a vacant lot, and 84 has a house on it. Let me show you these plans here. This is after the boundary line adjustments. This is before. Kind of color coded these. Green before and green after. Red before and red after. Yellow before and yellow after. 50 and 84 both have structures on them. 66, which is the biggest of the existing lots, is what's going to be changed down to 1 acre. It's a little bit more than what's required in the zone, but nevertheless, it's getting a lot smaller. 84, this is going to add this to it, and 50, let's fall over there. 50, you can see, is a little 40,000 square foot lot, which was here in 2009 as a subdivision of 66 Hayes Road. 50 was subdivided off. At that point, there was discussion about a sidewalk, and a waiver was granted so that a sidewalk wouldn't be needed at that time, which was really what I would consider a subdivision, a change from 1 lot into 2. We're starting with 3, 50, 66, and 84. We're going to end with 50, 66, and 84.
Is there a house on, so there's 2 houses?
There's 1 house right there.
Yeah.
There's 1 house right here.
And the purpose of that new lot is?
One of the things is, as I mentioned, it's family. They're owned, these are all owned, well, except for lot 50, it's not owned by family, but a very close friend and a work associate, my granddaughter, as a matter of fact. But that's the Dr. Giles residence at 84, and the people in 50 who are actually here, if you have any questions, she has purchased the business, is a close family friend, and lives there. So they're adjusting the lots. They're not proposing any new construction. This lot has been made smaller, basically to keep it within zoning requirements, but there are also access rights from the 1950s for this lot down on Lake Winnipesaukee. The family has property on an island. This lot gives them access to a place on Winnipesaukee so that they can ferry back and forth between the island and the mainland. So they're keeping this in conformity to the local zoning, but there's no need to have it be 3 acres as it is over on that before the boundary line adjustment. So 66 will change to a 1 acre lot. 50 will gain, it starts at about 40,000 square feet. it's going to come up to almost 2 acres. And 84 is going to change as well. It'll become a little under 3 acres. So it's basically meet the needs of the family. For protection, one thing, you know, there's a lot of condominiums being built around here. This brings the boundary line back for Lot 50, kind of give them a little more protection and buffer in the future. This lot, as I said, is going to stay in the family, but there's a reason for it. No plans for construction on that lot.
Okay.
And then the Dr. Giles' property would get a little bigger on 84, so it's,
Well, I hope, it may seem like I was nitpicking there, but the sidewalk question has been relatively contentious in this room
I understand.
for a couple of years now, actually. And so I wanted you to be very clear, and I want the public to understand, because I won't be voting on this, but if I was voting, I would vote in favor of the waiver, only because of how you've explained this. But there will be other people who will say, well, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, how come we didn't get one, or whatever? So I think that, you know, with the explanation of the staff over here and your explanation, I don't know what the board's gonna do, but I can, you know, I'm just glad you explained all that, because that's very important, about lack of new construction, et cetera. So,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions or comments from the staff, the board? In favor or not in favor of the waiver?
I'm in favor of the waiver.
I'm sorry?
I said, I'm in favor of the waiver for no sidewalks. Based on what we heard, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. I think that it's got caught up in the regulations of a subdivision, which hence puts the sidewalk. I think I'm in favor of the waiver.
Of this one, right.
I'll make a motion of that.
Okay, has a motion been made to,
Make a motion to approve the requested waiver for PB 2026-043 for 50, 66, 84 Hayes Road as presented.
and that's been seconded by Jake. Okay, any more discussion? Again, I can't emphasize the importance of being very clear why this is being granted. It's very important, really is.
I agree. You know, we fought hard to not give sidewalk waivers, but in this situation, you know, you're on a private road, you know, no new construction.
That's
I
the
agree with
key, yeah.
You know, it's a tough build for a sidewalk to install it. Makes sense.
Yeah,
It's not like we're starting to build a road.
Well, I would, and personally, the fact that it would be tough to do doesn't faze me in the least, because we've required some sidewalks where it's been very tough to put them in. And the fact that it's a private road, well, you know, again, we did it just down the road a little bit. So that really doesn't personally faze me at all. What the important thing is, are the points you pointed out, why this is different, and it really is different. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Looking for a second. Did we get a second on that motion? Seconded by Jake, that's correct, I'm sorry. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of granting the waiver? That's unanimous, thank you very much. Okay. That one's done.
That's good news.
You need a motion for,
To accept it now.
Yeah, so now we need a motion to accept it. You gonna do that?
excuse me, I'll make a motion to move to accept the application PB 2026-43 for 50, 66, and 84 Hayes Road as complete.
Look for a second. Seconded by Rich. All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, again. It's a family matter. Their desire is to break these lots up into this orientation. There is municipal sewer on this road. There is no municipal water. So these existing houses already have a connection to the municipal sewer and have their own private wells. All the lots will meet zoning requirements in this zone. We're in the commercial resort zone, minimum 40,000 square feet for lots with one utility. So we more than meet that. We've actually made 66 a little bit bigger than the 40,000s. I think you understand what we're trying to do here. This is, I just color coded it, that's the before, this is the after.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you. Stick around. We'll open up a public hearing on this at 7:35. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to come up and comment on this application? Apparently you're not thinking anybody's going to come up, I can see. Okay. Okay, seeing nobody, we'll close the public hearing at 7:35.25. Thank you. Okay, staff?
So, for the findings of fact, the application is complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The submission was reviewed by the Technical Review Committee at its April 21st, 2026 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which are pretty short. Plans must be revised and submitted to the planning department to include the following: the correct map, block, lot, and unit number for parcel 126-181-5.1, utility connections and/or stubs for each parcel. 4 final plan sets and a Mylar plan must be submitted to, reviewed, and approved by the planning department. The Mylar plan and notice of action must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. New deeds for each of the subject properties must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. And the project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than May 5th, 2033, if all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date. This approval will be null and void.
Any questions? Thank you, Tyler.
No
Any
problem.
Any questions?
I have one question.
Okay,
Maybe
Doreen?
I heard it and didn't, there's no question as far as impact fees because it's not a new lot. I just want to make it clear, and it's not being built on. I know that was just a question. Just want to make sure it's on record. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good catch.
If I could
Gary.
expand on that, the shrinkage of the center lot still remains a 1 acre building lot. I know we've talked about the family wants to keep it in the family, but 20 years from now, 50 years from now, somebody could come in with a proposal to build on there with a sale, so.
And boy, wouldn't there be a sidewalk situation then?
And
Put that in the notes.
And what's the frontage on Hayes Road that one lot has?
And I think to Doreen's point as well, that right now there's no mention of impact fees only because they're not
Very
planning any
small.
construction. If
Right.
they ever sold it and somebody came in with a building permit, at that point, in
It
accordance
would
with
be
the
to
ordinance,
impact.
we would assess it.
Yep.
Fantastic. I have no other questions.
Okay, I look for a motion. Counselor Conant, you want to make a motion? No?
I'll make a motion. to
Okay,
approve
Rich.
PB 2026-043, 50, 66, and 84 Hayes Road with the findings of fact from the staff.
Okay, made by Rich and Counselor, second?
Sure.
Okay, I got him. All right,
And-
that's been seconded by Counselor Conant. Go ahead.
Just to clarify for the record, it's
Of-
findings of fact
findings of
and
fact.
conditions.
And
Thank you.
conditions.
Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Thank you both. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, please raise your hands. That is unanimous. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we have 8.3 PB 2026-04479-81 Guilford Ave, 410-88-66. The applicant is proposing a condominium conversion of an existing multifamily dwelling. Counselor, how nice to see you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as always, it's a pleasure to appear in front of you. Ethan Wood with Normandin, Cheney and O'Neill, here on behalf of my clients, Laconia Properties, who, the principal is with me back in where we were sitting, as well as our engineer, Mark Condodemetraki with GC Engineering.
Can you hold on one second? Do we need to accept this? Let me just vote.
Yes, you do.
You do.
Let me get this, before I should even talk to you.
Simply noting who's here.
I would have got yelled at in a few minutes anyway.
That's fair.
Need a motion to accept, please?
So moved.
A motion by Gary, seconded by Rich. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What we're proposing is to take the existing property, which is a pre-existing non-conforming lot with 2 dwellings on it containing 5 units, and condominiumize that to 5 condominium units. There are no additional units proposed. There are no changes to the outside proposed other than the removal of one set of stairs. It's serviced by existing water and sewer for the city of Laconia. It has existing parking on premises, and it will be private trash, obviously, because it is 5 units.
I never figured that one out.
I can't either, and I'm not entirely sure why it makes sense in this situation, but such is life.
Well, I always wondered if they get a tax break because of that, but probably not. We'll leave that for somebody else. Okay, any questions?
Parking stays the same?
That's correct.
One per unit?
That's correct. There are 2 garage spaces that could be used, and then one that would be a very tight fit. So there are really 7, potentially 8 spaces that could be used, but there are 5 outdoor spaces that are shown on the site plan.
And the snow storage, is it what you're currently using for snow storage?
That is correct as well. And again, if we were to have a significant snow event that required the removal of the snow off-site, the association would be obligated to do so.
Anybody else? Thank you. We'll open this up to a public hearing now. I can't see a big crowd for this, but maybe. We'll open the public hearing up at 7:41. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to comment on this application, one way or the other? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public comment at 7:42. Thank you. Any questions for the staff before they give us their, seeing none, staff?
So the application is complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The submission was reviewed by the Technical Review Committee at its April 21st, 2026 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which are: plans must be revised and submitted to the planning department prior to the signing and recording of the final plans in Mylar. These revisions include the following: adding the approved 911 address for each unit and adding the water service lines for each structure. Condominium documents must be submitted to the planning and assessing departments for review and approval. These documents must reflect the responsibilities of the association and individual property owners for all private water, sewer, drainage, solid waste, road maintenance, and fire services. These documents must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. The addresses for all lots must be updated by the fire department and public works to ensure compliance with RSA 231:133 and 133-A. The applicant must possess all required permits and approvals granted by federal, state, municipal boards, or agencies. All permits and approvals must be in place prior to the signing and recording of the final plans in Mylar. Should any permit or approval be revoked at any time during the project, all work must cease until a new permit or approval is obtained. Copies of all permits and approvals must be provided by the applicant to the planning department. Snow storage and/or removal must be provided by the owner so drainage structures can function properly and the required parking spaces can be utilized. Private trash service will be required if more than 4 trash cans or a dumpster are used. If a dumpster is used, it must be screened from view on all sides. 4 final plan sets and a Mylar plan must be submitted to, reviewed, and approved by the planning department. The Mylar plan and notice of action must be recorded at the Belknap County Registry of Deeds at the applicant's expense. The project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than May 5th, 2033 if all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date. This approval will be null and void.
Thank you, Tyler.
No problem.
Thank you. Look for a motion.
I'll move to approve the application PB 2026044 for 79 to 81 Guilford Avenue with the findings of fact and conditions of approval presented in the staff report.
Doreen, thank you. If I didn't know better, I'd think you've been doing this your whole life.
Thank you.
Well, you cut that right out of there.
I'll second that.
Look at that, seconded by Councilor Conant. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, I look for a vote. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we go to 8.4 PB 2026-046 1085 White Oaks Road, 163-241-8. The applicant is proposing an overall development plan for a phased mixed-use residential development. Application needed, approval,
Acceptance?
acceptance needed. I had the right letter. Somebody want to make a motion for that, acceptance?
I'd rather you struggle a little longer.
Well, I'm going to do that the rest of my life.
I move to accept application PB 2026-031 for 33 White Oaks Road as complete.
Sorry, that was a typo in there. That should be 1085 White Oaks Road. Clarify. I missed that one.
It should be 1085.
Yep.
Oh,
Mistakes happen.
That's what I
Well,
said.
Do I need to
so-
repeat it?
No, I clarified it. You're good.
With correction, it's right on my paper, just so you know.
Interesting.
Thank you. Look for a second in that, seconded by Rich. All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. John Cronin for the applicant this evening. As was read into the record, this is an overall development plan that's required by your performance zoning district. Its intent is to give you an overview of what's being proposed for a particular site, and the ordinance has regulations of what's required at this particular stage. Basically, it shows the proposed layout with a maximum number of units. As this gets developed, there'll be individual site plans for each phase. If you see the maps, it's projecting now to be a two-phase development that's a mix of housing units in different styles that have been designed by City Collective in concert with the owners to capture the grades, to capture the views, and to make it fit into the hillside there that's been kind of inactive, shall we say, for a long, long time. I think the Surf Coaster ceased operations in mid to late 2000s, 2006 maybe, and it's been idle since that period of time. So it would be nice to see some life brought into that particular project. This project so far has gone through a lot of review. Initially, there was a concept plan that was done. Some great feedback was given that led to some alterations of the plan. Then some TRC work was done. And that was, again, helpful. A lot of good comments. One of the things you might note in the staff report is the suggestion with the, I'll call it the number 3 curb cut on White Oaks Road, which is closer to the intersection. And I think that's a well-reasoned note based on the volume of traffic. The traffic study was submitted as well, which is a requirement at this phase to give you an idea of turning movements and how they're going to work. The various criteria I'll let Justin speak to from City Collective. He's here, and it's his good work that kind of makes up the outline of the plan and the different design of the housing units. There's also a commercial component, probably be service related, different things, whether it's a coffee shop or a bike rental area or something like that, that would not only be servicing the existing owners, but the public could come in, get a bike, ride around the weirs, get a coffee, sit and read the paper. That type of use is being contemplated. Of course, you won't know exactly who the users are till you get it approved and marketed, and then the site plans are done. So I'll turn it over to Justin for a bit. He'll talk to you a little bit about the various types of housing options and where they're located and why they're located in that particular area.
Good evening. A little bit of a
Jeff, you just give
slideshow
your
to
full
present.
name.
Sorry?
Your name?
Justin Kernan with City Collective.
All right, thank you.
Nice to see everyone again. Can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, great. Apologies for being a little flush in the face. It's between 1 and 2,000 degrees in here.
We like to keep the pressure up in here.
Yeah, yeah. Is this to move quick? Okay, so there was a lot that was submitted in the planning board pack. I am not going to speak to all of that today. I'm going to talk a little bit of an overview. We heard a little bit from John just a minute ago, but just to talk a little bit more about the team that was working on this from a technical standpoint, myself with City Collective, I'm an architect, urban designer, urban planner, work on the master planning side, also work through architecture buildings all the way through construction. I also have with me my colleagues Keith and Sean from Bowler and Chapel Engineering, who worked on the civil engineering side, the traffic engineering side as well, from the start of this project all the way through today. So just recap of where we've kind of been process to date, just to kind of level set. The current landowners purchased the site in August 2025. They started that process of master planning at that time, engaged us, started to figure out what exactly that they were thinking about, what would be possible, what they thought the community and the city would be looking for. We brought that vision before the planning board. Hopefully some of you remember that in early January. Got some really fantastic feedback about that process. We then started to go through the TRC process. We submitted it to a TRC package in late March, and then had a session with the TRC in late April. Got some great feedback in that process, engaged with DPW, of course, all of the department heads, and are before you today looking to advance this through planning board. But just kind of looking ahead, this will not be the last time that you see me or this effort. Hopefully after a successful motion today, you will see that this project is anticipated to go through the site plan process, just like every other development does in the city. And we'll go through the typical TRC back to planning board process. And the goal is to ultimately start construction on the site, if everything goes as planned, really in the fall, just to kind of give everybody a sense of timing and scale. I'm going to recap a little bit of the vision, just to remind everybody of where we started and kind of where we're going. At a super high level, this is the former surf coaster site. So this is right kind of at the intersection of Meredith Bay, and obviously has a really great connectivity from downtown Laconia, downtown Meredith, and has the future connectivity with the forthcoming WOW Trail. If you kind of zoom in a little bit more on the existing site and the surrounding site, it has incredible views over Meredith Bay, but also has that connectivity with the Weirs Beach and the really wonderful Wales Community Park just across the street, across Endicott. And when you zoom in a little bit more, though today it's maybe a little sore on the eye in terms of a former wave pool and other things, there's really amazing kind of legacy that comes with the site. There's this larger kind of community gravity that comes with this larger project that was once and has that legacy. We would like to carry that legacy into the future, as well as it has this incredible character that we think makes the lake regions really special, this connection to the water, across views across the bay, as well as this kind of larger landscape of the White Oaks themselves. And so this is why we've named the project Lakeview at White Oaks, and it's also the kind of legacy that we want to carry forward in the design intent itself. And our vision, and there you'll see a little bit of an image array there of the kind of look and feel and character that we're imagining here, is really to create this Lakeview living with this larger White Oaks roots. And this is just an illustration, bird's eye illustration, looking at what that might look like. This is just a little bit of the proposed plan that's earmarked of a couple of key moments. Lakeview Row up and Plaza to the south, White Oaks Commons, which are these smaller pockets of green spaces throughout the site, and this kind of larger, ever-present view to the water, which we have done some fantastic creative thinking with our engineering partners about how to maintain the topography in a way that ultimately gives as many residents and visitors views to the water as humanly possible across the entirety of the site. And these are just a few images of what that experience looks like. So In your planning pack, once again, I'm not going to talk about this in detail, but just to give a little bit of an overview, you will see there's a cover letter, and that will outline the process to date, the feedback we heard, how we have responded to it previously, how we plan to respond to it, and address some of the speed bumps moving forward. The second is the formal planning board application. The third is a larger set of diagrams, and that will kind of outline for you number of units, commercial area, building heights, and then an overall description of the performance-based zoning. That is consistent with what you all saw in January, so there's no surprises there. Some things moved up, down, left, right, but it's pretty consistent from what you all saw. You'll see an outline of the overall architectural styles, which is once again pretty consistent with what you've seen in today's presentation. We also see some more detailed pieces of work from our civil engineering partners in regards to topography, overall site plans, stormwater approach, and approach to utilities. You also see a more in-depth study when it comes to stormwater and when it comes to traffic as well. We would welcome conversation, questions about the detail of those. I felt like we would maybe not put you all through a 500-page review of that. So with that, would welcome comments, questions.
Don't ever worry about 500 pages. I mean, you know, people like to know what much as they
That's
can.
why we give it to you all.
In sections. I have a question.
Yes.
I spoke to the staff about this just the other day, and that's obviously the means of egress onto Endicott Street East.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on having, and it may be in here and I may have missed it, if I did, I apologize. Are you planning on having entrance and exit on there, or is it going to be one or the other?
Give me one moment and I'll pull that up so we can speak live. Okay, which intersection were you speaking of?
I'm speaking just along the property line on Endicott Street East.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on having an entrance or exit there?
Yes, there is a planned intersection there, yes.
Okay, is that, what, you said intersection?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just an entrance or an exit. It's not necessarily an intersection.
The idea, we're currently in, because Endicott is a DOT road and would welcome traffic or civil to correct me if I'm representing this incorrectly. The idea is that it's a full movement intersection, but we still have to work that out with DOT in the typical site plan process.
When you're saying intersection, are you talking about White Oaks Road or are you talking
No, I'm
about a
talking
separate entrance?
Separate entrance.
Okay, so you've got to work that out with them.
Yes.
That's great, but I'm very concerned about it, living here.
Sure.
And seeing the amount of traffic there in the summer. That's a hill. People, sometimes big trucks and stuff like that, got to get up that hill. And so I'm hoping that you're planning on a turn lane there to the right side and not just people having to stop to make a right turn or coming out of there. I mean, it's going to be.
Can I invite maybe Sean or just maybe speak to the detail?
Yeah, it's not
I can
gonna-
play a traffic engineer.
Sure.
I'm not actually.
I don't see it being really smooth. I see it being an issue in the summertime. I know of one fatality that happened there on White Oaks Road and where it comes out on Endicott Street is some time ago. But nonetheless, that happened in the middle of the day when it wasn't even that busy traffic. It wasn't in the midst of the heavy traffic season. So just something to be thinking about, because I'll be watching for it, and I'm sure other people will too, and I hope that DOT is. And I know when you were back in here in January, we really just talked about White Oaks Road, and we weren't mentioning Endicott Street East, and people can correct me on that. But I believe that what we talked about was you were gonna widen White Oaks Road on your property there to have a right turn there and then straight.
Yeah, so just to give a little history on yes, you're absolutely correct. Sorry, Sean. When we originally drew the framework plan, you're correct, that the internal driveway turned left and actually made its way back to White Oaks. When we worked back and forth with DPW about what it is that they would want to see and be comfortable with, they were actually encouraging us to connect directly to Endicott, not actually double back onto White Oaks. And we see that there was benefit, so we didn't necessarily disagree with that approach.
Well, there's always benefits to agree with DPW, but so you're not going to use White Oaks Road at all?
No, there are two connections. So there's a connection right here at White Oaks, if you can see my cursor.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Yep, you're there.
Yeah,
You're there.
okay. So there's the connection to Endicott right there, and then there are, and apologies, the plan is rotated. And then there's two connections actually to White Oaks, one here and one there. So 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, so I'm just throwing this stuff out for you guys
Yeah,
to
no,
be thinking. So
yeah.
if in fact DOT allows you to do that, and in fact if DOT doesn't require a turn lane, which I strongly hope they do, one thing for sure, and I would hope that the city would be all over this, is that that's going to have to be a very well-lit entrance at night. Because again, that's a busy road.
Yeah. No, your comments are well taken.
They didn't require a turn lane for the other development, just south of there.
I'm aware of that, but this seems to be a much, much bigger development we're talking about here. They're making it look like a city in there, almost.
Sorry, just a point of clarification. You're saying DOT did not?
That is correct.
Okay.
But again, I think this is so totally much bigger that, and maybe with a combination of the two, I don't know, Rich, but, Rich is the expert on power, but I like to think I dwell on transportation a lot. Because it is a concern to all the residents in the city.
It's a busy road.
It
No,
is a very
Chair,
busy
Chair,
road.
your comments are well taken.
Okay. And the only, why I have your attention here, the only other thing I've heard from some neighbors and city residents, again, is your height. What are you looking at overall?
3 stories.
3 stories? Okay. That seems reasonable. It's going to make it's going to look different. I know you're going to blend in it with trees and nice-looking homes, but if any of you have come up, what's that?
I said it needs to look different, it's time.
Well, everything looks different at time, but we don't want to change what tourists come here for too much. And if you come down, if you're coming down from Meredith and you cross over Roller Coaster Road there and past the Broken Spoke, for a lot of people, it's like, whoa, with a new building there. And that has changed the whole outlook of that neighborhood. It's a change nonetheless, but again, it's a big change. So, Gail's not here tonight, so she can't call me anti-progress. But I like progress, but we like good progress, and we want things to blend in as much as possible. And I think you're definitely looking to do that. But we just have to really pay attention.
Yep.
Go ahead, everybody. Anybody else have any questions, or Rich?
That's a fairly sloping lot,
Yes.
to, I guess, be easy on it. What's the steepest slope on some of your streets?
So you'll actually see this comment was raised at the planning board the first time, and I have to give credit to the engineering team because this is not an easy task. White Oaks Road today, I think, is somewhere around 9 to 10% grade. I believe, and once again, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe city standards is up to 10%. So White Oaks is just sneaking under there. So what we actually did to alleviate this is that what you would have seen in the original plan, and I'm going to flip back for a minute. What you would have seen in the original plan was, there's one continuous kind of road that goes up the property. And the challenge with that is that, we really have to match the existing grade to some degree, which is quite steep, which logic would tell you we're about the same as White Oaks Road, which would be 9 or 10%. What the engineering team had come up with, which is a fantastic idea, is to actually have two separate roads, which is why we have Endicott and two connections to White Oaks, so that they can be at different elevations, and then they can be shallower because of that. So the average grade is somewhere around 4 or 5%, and then some of the where you don't have aprons for garages and other things, that's somewhere around 8 or 9%. But those are in very select areas, and nothing is over 10.
That was a nice.
Doreen?
No, I was going to say, that was a nice part brought up. I mean, I know the fire department asked too at your TRC meeting about being able to get their rigs up there, and having that second level, I think, really helps that.
Yeah, and in the internal process we have taken is to match all of NFPA's standards as they requested, but we're already in the middle of preparing an actual turning study to prove out to fire that, like, yes, you can move all of your trucks around, and here it is on a piece of paper. So we're in the middle of that process as well.
Fantastic.
I think the two road setup will also lessen the amount of traffic turning onto Endicott by encouraging some of that traffic to head on White Oaks, which I think is great.
I hope so, but people like water, and they just grab the closest darn thing they can see, and to make a right turn on White Oaks, and unless they think it's better, I'm more concerned about the people coming down the hill to make that left turn.
Sure.
That's what I'm concerned about. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lengthy report as well, but your stormwater mitigation, I know that came up at the last meeting
Yes.
as well. How did you address the slope on that?
I'm gonna wholly pass over to my colleague Keith on stormwater.
Thank you.
Yes, so there's, I think proposed, we have like 5 or 6 subsurface detention infiltration systems.
Can you just give us your name?
Sorry, Keith Curran from Bowler Engineering.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I think we have 5 or 6 subsurface right now, may tweak it a little bit, subsurface detention infiltration. As you know, there's not much space left for above grade. So the idea is that obviously we're gonna meet the pre and post runoff. Everything heads down to Endicott Street East, so that path will still maintain there. The connection will be to Endicott East, but we will treat and, again, mitigate the peaks with those systems.
I'm guessing that's a pretty good challenge.
Yeah, we fit it on they're in series, right? So they're actually all working kind of together, but the idea is they just have that one discharge point to Endicott East.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Dave?
One question, your maximum height is gonna be
Yes.
42?
I believe, and Rob and Tyler, correct me, I believe building height is measured for performance district in stories, not height, not feet. So I don't know if we have feet proposed.
That'd be nice.
One of the diagrams.
Okay.
You do have feet proposed on one of your height diagrams, which is 42 feet is the highest that you have.
Yeah,
there, which
and
is
Wait a minute. It's what?
42 feet.
42 feet.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of a double-edged sword because we feel, from now I'm putting on my architecture hat, we feel that what fits really well in the smaller, more intimate character of the larger region is architecture that has like steeper, sloper roofs. And so naturally those buildings are going to be taller to the peak, but lower to the eave. And so if you look at the kind of architectural expressions that we look at, they feel small, they're lower because the eave line is lower. But the actual proper to the peak portion of it, to the ridge line, is up to that 42 feet mark.
The only reason I ask is,
Yep.
as a member of the planning board, I've been questioned by members of the public on certain buildings that were much higher than this, how it happened, so I just want
Yep, no.
clarification that 42
Sure.
feet is what you propose.
Yep.
Because if I recall, and I'm sure that Tyler will correct me, if not Rob, on Hayes Road, that's 55 feet?
It is higher than what was zoning permits, but they got a variance from the
I
zoning
understand that, but it is, I just want to get them, it is 55 feet, I
I
believe.
don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
I believe that's what they asked
I just know that it is
for.
higher than
So
the-
you're looking at 42 feet versus 55 feet, so there's 12 feet difference there.
And it is based off of average grade.
And yet, there again, the slope hides that height considerably, as
Yep.
opposed to putting something 55 feet tall in a field, looks like it's 55 feet tall.
You think?
So this, I think this height is, based on the grade, is achievable.
It'll blend in
It-
better.
It will blend in.
Doreen, you had a question?
No, just nodding my head.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
Maximum number of units?
150 units.
So we're still talking 275 people roughly.
There's no way to exactly calculate that. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but the average household size in general is about 1.8 persons per household. And that is, 150 is consistent with what we presented in January and the feedback that we got from this body at that time.
That's correct, and you'll need all those people if you're gonna have a coffee shop that flourishes there. Anybody else? Can we do a public hearing on this tonight? We should.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep, correct.
We'll open this up to a public hearing at 8:10 PM. Is there anybody in the public that would like to comment or has questions about this application? Thank you. Just state your name and address, that'll be great.
Glenn Joyce, 252 White Oaks Road. I share your compassion for sidewalks.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I just want to reiterate that you really pay attention to the traffic flows, as I've lived on White Oaks Road for a lengthy period of time. And not just the Endicott Street end, but also the Lake Street end, because people in here are gonna, who knows which way they're gonna go. If it were me, I'd probably go down White Oaks Road. So, that's all I have to say, just
Well,
keep that in mind.
It's a valid point, and of course, they're closing Weirs Boulevard with the construction of the bridge there at some point this fall. I believe they're detouring everybody over White Oaks Road. And plus, with all the other development you've got on White Oaks Road now, I'm afraid that the traffic flow is gonna do nothing but get busier on that road.
Oh, yeah,
Which
certainly will.
is not a great thing, but thank you very much
Thank you.
for your comments. Anybody else back there? Good.
Hi, my name is Alicia.
Pull that
Emery.
mic right down to you. Thank you.
My name is Alicia Emery. I live at 181 White Oaks Road, and basically the same as he just said. We're already experiencing a lot more traffic on both ends of the road and trying to get up the road, down the road, and, you know, we haven't hit anything busy, but it's really changing, and I don't know what you're gonna do. All we got is a blinking light or a stop sign, and somebody needs to look at what's gonna happen as all of these developments are sold and all of these extra people. So I really ask the board to look at that and keep track of what they are gonna do for everybody's sake. We all know of the number of accidents in all of that area, both ends, in the middle, and it's really important to,
I'd like to see an accident report from the police, not so much on White Oaks Road and Endicott Street East, but more on Lake Street. Because that, if somebody doesn't know what they're doing there, that can be very problematic. And again, with this added residents going up everywhere on the road,
right, and
it'll
when they
affect
block
everybody.
off White Oaks Road to do work, I'm at the beginning of the road to do work, people don't pay attention, and it's one lane open. There's been several close calls right there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And that would be up to the people doing the construction to have better
Definitely.
traffic management there at that time, so.
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Anybody else?
Good evening. Bring that back up. My name is Francine Ray. I live at 209 White Oaks Road. Hi, Gary. And I've been there for 40-plus years. And I can only reiterate, the traffic issue has just been growing and growing on White Oaks with all the development on either end, and it obviously gets that much more worse in the summertime. And as far as my opinion is that a development of that size on that corner lot is just going to cause horrendous traffic problems at that corner and on White Oaks. And I think we just need to take that into serious consideration before there are more accidents.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that, too, and I'm not speaking only for myself, I'm speaking. But I think at some point, probably sooner than later, there may have to be some sort of a reconfiguration of the intersection there on Lake Street. I'm not sure what more can be done on Endicott Street other than a wider turn lane or something like that. Definitely better lighting at night.
Right.
Even a flashing light.
Right.
But when you come down Lake Street, it's tough. When you come down the hill and you've got to, if you don't pull over to the right so you can see what's coming down the boulevard.
Exactly.
You're just.
You're really taking a chance.
You're just throwing it to the wind,
And Bike Week is always a pleasure.
Well, it's true. Must we bring Motorcycle Week into it? But yes.
Oh,
because-
I have no problem with Bike Week, but I'm just saying the traffic on that particular.
And actually, the worst offenders with motorcycles and cars, as far as speed and stuff like that, I hate to say it, are normally the locals.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
the out-of-towners will go slow just because they're not sure
Right.
what the hell's going on with the traffic.
Right.
So when I see people speeding up that hill and stuff, I kind of peek and I go, oh, geez, I recognize them, or something like that. You know, people that should know better. But
Yeah.
I hear
Yeah,
what you're saying, and
yeah.
I'm sure the board does too.
Especially that size on that lot with that corner, and it's a hill in both directions. That's a real tricky spot.
It is.
So.
It is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? I know that the designers are listening to all this information. There, we have somebody else.
Hello, I'm John Crawford, 104 Endicott Street, Daytona Fun Park. And again, the traffic on that road, and now adding 150 units. I'd also be interested to find out what it's going to be like coming down Endicott Street, if we're going to have, skyscrapers right there that kind of, right now, believe it or not, we had trees up until the fall or about then. So just concerned what it's going to look like from the Endicott Street side.
It's gonna be tough, because these trees that they're gonna plant are gonna take a while to get
I
big, and
I
probably not in
understand.
our lifetime.
Yeah. Not if I'm lucky.
So you're up towards the hill, on the top of the hill there, or 104?
Daytona Fun Park.
Okay. Oh, that's right there, right.
Yeah. So right across the street. And, as you said, I've seen numerous, thank God, nothing serious, but numerous accidents and close calls of people coming down that hill too fast and not paying attention. So I know they had talked about a turn lane to the garden at Weir's, the development right next door. They had talked about it. I don't know what the status of that is.
Well, I would advise you, it's not a bad idea. You can do two things. You can stop by the DOT traffic office there on Guilford Ave, which is right by the bypass, and you can certainly voice your opinions to them. Or you can just call Concord and say, hey, I want to talk to a traffic engineer, and give them where you live, and let them know your thoughts. I mean, I always encourage people to do that, because that really gets the best results.
Yeah.
They do listen, believe it or not.
Okay.
So, thank you for that. Anybody else? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the hearing at 8:19 PM. Okay, anybody else have anything? Staff, you have anything you want to say?
We can give you the staff report if you'd like.
Yeah.
What's that?
We can give you the staff report.
You have a staff report?
sure we do.
Okay, please do.
So, for the findings of fact, the application is complete and consistent with state and city land use regulations. The applicant held a conceptual review conference with the planning board at its January 6, 2026 meeting to solicit the board's feedback on the proposed project. The applicant submitted a formal application based on the feedback provided by the board on March 30th, 2026. The formal submission was reviewed by the Technical Review Committee at its April 21st, 2026 meeting. Their comments have been incorporated in the recommended conditions of approval, which are: the following are required for planning board review in addition to the requirements outlined in its site plan review regulations. An initial traffic analysis that includes the following. Analysis of the following intersections: Endicott Street East and White Oaks Road, Endicott Street East and Weirs Boulevard, the roundabout there, Endicott Street East and I believe it's Lucerne Ave, and then Endicott Street North and Lakeside Ave, as well as all other intersections required by NHDOT if they have any additional intersections they want them to look at. Incorporation of relevant data from the approved projects for the following parcels: 164-72-1, which was approved by the planning board on September 7th, 2021, 318-155-1, and 318-538-1.1, which was approved July 1st, 2025, and 163-241-13, which was approved November 3rd, 2025. All other projects required by NHDOT, if any. Updated plan sets that include the following revisions: correct development plan label to identify the correct proposed site to 1085 White Oaks Road and not 135 Endicott Street East. The required number of ADA spaces in accordance with federal regulations for each parking area, looping of the dead-end water mains, adequate spacing between all utility mains, minimization of crossings between sewer and drain lines, crosswalk across White Oaks Road between the development and the sidewalk across the street, appropriate number and location of fire hydrants in accordance with applicable NFPA standards, fire apparatus movement plan in accordance with fire department standards, a completed voluntary lot merger form to be recorded at the Belknap County Registry at the applicant's expense, and draft condominium association documents, and then the completion date to have all this completed and come back before the board is the project and all associated conditions must be completed by no later than May 5th, 2033 if all conditions are not met, nor any extension application filed with the Laconia Planning Department by the completion date. This approval will be null and void. So the conditions are a little clunkier just because it's an overall development plan. This is not a final plan. If you guys approve it tonight, they cannot put a shovel in the ground tomorrow. This is kind of just outlining their requirements for what they're going to need to bring back to you guys for final site plan review.
That's what I want to be clear about.
Yeah.
So, just really be particular again.
Yep.
What we're approving tonight and what they're going to have to come back with.
So this is not giving them permission to put a shovel in the ground. This is just approving the overall development plan and the intensities and the limiting factors of their development. How much density you're going to allow there.
Okay, so all the other questions and concerns that were brought up tonight by residents and us, those will all be still on the table.
And the planning board will have another opportunity to review their formal submission after it's gone through the complete TRC review.
So that's when a traffic plan would be in place.
So that's when Tyler went over the staff report. These are the intersections that we've agreed with them and DPW and our project manager on what we thought we're gonna have the most significant impact and where we wanted them to incorporate. And Tyler referenced the parcel numbers as opposed to the projects, but those are the large projects that all require DOT approval in those areas to make sure that, for example, the gardens, which went in just down the road, when they hit phase 2, they need to put in their turn lane. It's making sure that all these numbers coincide with each other so that we've accounted for all that additional traffic.
When who hits phase 2?
The gardens.
Oh.
So they're not required to put in their turn lane.
It's not a turn lane on Endicott, it's a turn lane in their driveway.
No, it is a turn lane on Endicott.
It
is.
Okay.
It is.
So they'll have to put in a turn lane on
That's what
Endicott, and we want them to account for all of that for the full build-out of that project, should that project continue to move forward.
Yeah.
So that we're accounting for all of this traffic. We know traffic's a concern. If you had 150 units and some commercial there, that's a significant amount of traffic, and we want to make sure that we've got all the intersections studied to accommodate that increased flow.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't include all the visitors. Go ahead, Jake.
Question for staff. Where in this process
Can you
would,
speak in the mic so we can
where in
hear
this process would a water management runoff plan be presented? I think that's gonna be probably one of the heaviest lifts for this, and
Yeah.
I think something that we wanna pay particular
Yep.
attention to.
Early.
Yep, so that'll come in with their initial development plan. Yep.
So, yeah, and just kind of to touch on that, they have already submitted an initial concept for their drainage analysis. I think it was C401 was the plan number. And that's kind of what they're anticipating on doing right now. With that said, they're obviously going to have to work with DOT for the drainage in the state right-of-way there and figuring out all those calculations and making sure they're getting the state approval there. Like I said, this does not mean that they can put a shovel in the ground. They're going to have to do that full analysis before they come back to you all.
Super.
Yeah, and they still have to make sure that they can even tie into Endicott Street to account for all their drainage. So
Yep.
there's a lot of approvals that they still need to go through to get to that final point.
This will require AOT.
I would imagine it probably
At that
will.
point, you're gonna need, for construction, you're gonna need stormwater.
Yeah.
SWIP program for any storm over half an inch.
It will require AOT.
Yeah.
I got one other question.
Can you get the mic, just so we can,
You mentioned a crosswalk.
Mhm.
Is there a location given for that crosswalk yet?
So, it's the southernmost entrance, so if you're looking at the site plan, they kind of have it tilted on its side, it's the far right on White Oaks Road.
on White Oaks Road?
Yeah.
Yes.
And we wanted, and that was
Furthest
to,
from Endicott.
Correct.
yes, and that was for line of sight for safety,
That was
the
the
aspect
general-
into, yeah.
I
That's
was
the
thinking
most
if it's
uphill.
Too close to Endicott.
Yep.
That's a bad spot to try to,
Yep.
with people turning on
Yes.
Endicott on a White Oak.
And there's already a sidewalk on the other side of the road, so we wanted to make sure that it was the safest possible location to do it.
Well, that's where the talk was for school bus pickup that was needed.
That's correct. Anybody else? Well, this is just a small piece of the puzzle apparently we're sticking in there, so look for a motion.
I move to approve application PB
Wait, I'm gonna have you speak in the mic, because I want people to be able to
I
hear.
move to approve application PB 2026-031 for 33 White Oaks Road with the findings of fact and conditions of approval presented by the staff board.
Go ahead, Rob.
Can we make a correction of that? 1085 White Oaks Road, again, I fat fingered those two
1085
motions.
White Oaks Road with the findings of fact and conditions
What
of
the
approval
heck is
presented
going on here?
in the staff report.
Thank you. There was a lot of White Oaks Road.
Look for a second. Seconded by Mr. Little here, okay. Any more discussion? Make sure that's corrected on your, oh, you can't correct it, you don't have paperwork. I got paperwork.
It's corrected in the minutes.
It's corrected in the title block of the staff report, it's just not.
Just in the motions.
It's so unusual.
I know.
Human error, you know,
It's
it
so unusual
happens.
from your
Between
department.
zoning board and planning board, there's been a lot of White Oaks Road lately, so.
All right, is there any more discussion? Okay, I'll look for, all in favor? That is unanimous. Okay, we'll see you guys at some point. Do a good job on that, everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna go to number 9.1. This is conceptual review and presentations, PB 2026-049:295-319 Court Street Conceptual Review. The applicant is proposing to use performance zoning and redevelopment the existing parcels into a single mixed-use development that includes a restaurant, retail, and fitness center, as well as various housing type. Wow, it's a big place, intended for a range of incomes. Good evening. I guess we gotta, we have to.
Nope,
have it-
this is just a
Oh, that's because
conceptual.
that's conceptual, that's
Yep.
correct. Just your name and
Thank you,
address.
Mr. Chairman. My name is Dari Sasanen with Brown Engineering. I'm representing Chris and Jen Bouchard, who are somewhere in the room here with me tonight. Thank you very much, Scott, Tyler, and Rob, for helping us get to this point. This is a site, 295 through 319 Court Street. It's about a 3-acre site in the UC district, but it's also in the Performance District. So anytime we're working in the Performance District, we believe it, the way to do it is to collaborate from the outset with the planning board and the planning staff. So that's why we're here tonight. Again, it's a multi-parcel project. If you're familiar with Deja Vu Cafe, that's part of this overall land area here, probably about in there right now. And we kind of see this as a gateway to Laconia as you come off exit 20 and through passing Winnisquam. What we'd like to do, what we're proposing to do, the site is currently largely impervious, a lot of gravel, some pavement, and several buildings. We're proposing to redevelop to create housing, a restaurant, potentially the retail be in the lower level of this building, and then for the housing, all types of housing. This restaurant building would have 4 townhouses. This would have up to 24 units here with workforce housing providing, serving the housing needs of not only the local businesses, but also municipal services, ambulance, teachers, all those types of vital occupations that need housing, and then luxury condominiums in here. This parcel here is also part of the project, and Chris and Jen are meeting with Department of Environmental Services tomorrow, I believe it is, to talk about how many boat slips can come in here. Basically, again, in addition...
Can I stop you? I have a question.
Thanks.
If you don't mind, so I don't forget. The boat slips, they're on the other side of the railroad tracks.
True.
So how are you going to work that out, crossing the railroad tracks? Is that going to be okay with DOT or?
I expect there'll be some discussion necessary with DOT, but I think...
We already have land across, and we have an easement already.
Oh, you do have the easement, okay.
So there is a crossing there already for pedestrians? Okay.
But this is, this is in their ownership, this parcel here, in addition to the others. We see the brook as a unique feature that we're looking to protect more. It currently receives drainage directly from pipes going directly into it. We intend to utilize a lot of that existing infrastructure. However, we're creating more green space and more retention on site. So generally improving the environmental protection of the surrounding resources. Parking, we have more, when you run the total, there's a chart at the bottom of this proposed conditions table. Grand totals, we have more parking than we need. However, in full transparency, we have a lot more parking than is required, especially under current state statute, for the residential. And for the restaurant and the retail, per the underlying parking calculations, it says we're 15 short, but when you consider this is a mixed-use site in the performance district, and a lot of the use of the site will be people not only living in these condominiums, but visitors who are approaching by boat. We believe there's adequate parking, but we're happy to work with the board to come up with the ideal number on that.
Okay, so let me throw something out again at you. You're talking about boats, but obviously not in the wintertime. Right. And again, you're going to move this all around to hopefully make it work. But parking is tight there now. And maybe it's because it's not set up right or not. But when that restaurant is busy, as small as it is, it's hard. I mean, people go around the back to
Right.
try to find a spot to park, or they encroach on the. You're not taking the spot next door, right? The old Portland glass.
Well, that's part of the overall plan.
Oh, that is going to be your
That's
property.
part of the plan.
Okay, so
yeah.
then you will, because right now they encroach on that, but if it's your property, then.
Right, yeah, and so, if for any reason, this needed to not include that parcel, it would essentially eliminate this building, and it would be, that the project would change, but we wanted to come to the board with what's really, under discussion for a full project. They're in full contact with, any of course with all of the surrounding, abutting neighbors, the DOT, DES. But yes, drastically, you can't quite see all the lines, but there's now going to be 134 parking spaces total on this spot. So it's
Okay, let me ask you another question.
Where? Where's it?
Right now, there are 2 entrances, or strike that, there are 3.
Yeah.
entrances or exits. And what do you guys entail doing with that?
Yeah, we initially presented the design that had access here, but visiting the site and speaking with Chris and Jen, we've eliminated that for safety reasons. And really, this would be the main entrance here. We like to put 2 lanes so that, you know, exiting. And obviously, we'll work with DOT, and we understand a traffic study is going to be most likely a requirement. And then there's this lesser, most likely lesser used entrance that would provide access, direct access to those living in these luxury units, but also another alternate route for fire and emergency services to go right to access any of these buildings along the back.
Okay, I'm not sure if would be DOT or not. That's urban compact, so would they?
It would be the city.
It'd be the city.
It'd be the city you'd be
Oh,
dealing with.
that's right, yes.
It's-
Whenever
it's-
you see a 11A, you assume
Well,
it's
no,
New
it's
Hampshire Route 11A, oh, yeah.
Well, no, actually, it's
It's
business, it's business 3, it's business
Business
US 3,
3,
but it is
okay.
urban compact there, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Wes clarified that, I forgot,
All
yes,
right.
yes, that's
Go ahead,
right.
Gary.
While you were talking about entrances, it looks like there's a stub end that almost touches Keyser Court. Is there gonna be an entrance? Yes. There would be. That doesn't exist now, right?
If you got, come on up, so we can hear you.
You have to do the introductions.
Just give us your name.
We have a gate drawn in there.
Jen Bouchard.
And your address?
My home address
Well,
or
where
my
you live,
property? This is for 301 Court Street, so
Okay.
I'm the owner
I don't
of
need
the
it, just
property.
like city, that's all.
Okay, Laconia.
Oh, thank you.
So we're proposing, so right now in Keyser Court, the connection is here. A lot of these residents currently come through here, and we're actually proposing having a gate here with a keypad with a knock box, I believe it's called, for the fire department, so that they could access straight through, but it will not be, a common, drive-through for all.
Do you have frontage on Keyser Court at all? Other than that, the width of that?
No, that's all we have is right there.
Okay. And that's owned, it's not a right of way? Correct. Okay.
See, now you said you're from Laconia, that makes me happy, because that means you know the property, you know the traffic.
I'm here every single day.
Right, and you know the traffic, and you
Yes.
know all these things that residents may or may not be questioning about, so that's a good thing.
I have questions every day.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Other than that, we've discussed, we intend to comply with the sort of lighting requirements, landscaping. We talked a little bit about being sensitive again to traffic safety. We understand there's a street tree requirement, but we'd like to do it in a way that, again, preserves safe site distances for those entering and exiting the site. Other than that, building height, I heard that come up. We're going to be well below the 60-foot height requirement in the district.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
How far below the 60-foot?
I think most of the buildings are coming in around 3 stories.
So we're
Actually,
looking
I
at-
don't think we'd have anything above 3 stories under our current
So you're looking around
plans.
40 feet?
Yeah, right, about 40, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to hear you're not doing 60 feet.
Yeah.
Because that would be terrible. Jake?
Do you guys have plans to make the restaurant accessible from the walking trails that connect?
Yeah, definitely. And I should have mentioned, that's another reason we feel our parking is more than adequate. There's public parking very nearby.
At the Bartlett Beach.
At Bartlett Beach, yes.
Yeah, and I
thank you.
think that kind of cross-pollination of people going to the beach and then walking to the restaurant is pretty exciting for that area, and getting more.
We would love to,
would be
like,
great.
if we could light up the WOW trail from that path, like solar lights or something, just to
Definitely a
enhance the area.
consideration for the residents, maybe some vegetation separating them from the WOW trail, because it does look like you're pretty close to
Yeah.
that, but it's an exciting development for that.
So exciting most of the year. Not in the winter so much, because everybody be driving then, pretty much. Gary?
Yeah, if I could interject a few ideas. The two things that struck me early on, one was one of the dumpster locations right by the brook. I'd really like to not have that there. It's, I was counting spaces and I said, gosh, they've got an awful lot of parking spaces. You mentioned street trees. Line of sight would be great if you had more lawn rather than straight street trees. Any way you could think about that first building with 24 units, maybe move forward closer to the street and have maybe a 10-foot strip of grass, 10 or 15 feet of grass, and move the parking behind the buildings. It just seems lots of times we're driving down the streetscapes and all we see is parking on both sides of the street. It's just parking lots and the buildings are always set back. I'd just like to see us reverse.
We are just envisioning like retail shops here, you know what I mean, there will be some kind of retail at the bottom, so there would be, or gym, or what, I don't have my glasses on, I can't read it.
There's a
Okay.
good curve there too, Gary.
So that's why we have
really
some
want the
parking in
building
front.
back.
Because of the curve.
Yeah, there's a curve there, you want to.
I'm not gonna see much with 18 cars parked right along the street there.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is a, you know, a dangerous curve area too, that's why we're,
Well, I know your
some
site
of
very
these
well.
apartments here, you know what I mean, they have a very hard
Yep.
time getting out, so they come around the back through the
Mhm.
deja vu, so we're trying to, you know, limit anybody turning in right there.
Well, when I eat, I go around the back. I
Well,
leave there.
that's how I exit, is going around the back
Yeah.
to go further south. So, yeah, I just didn't like seeing 18 plus 11 spaces right along the edge of the road. Well, right, if there was, well, the sidewalk to be. Just like more green space there.
Okay.
Don't have to have trees, you could have, if you move the building forward a little bit, closer to the street a little bit, and have some low shrubs perhaps, that would be great. And just get the parking away from the street.
Problem is you lose your line of sight.
Can't hear you. Can't
I
hear
said
you.
the problem is you lose your line of sight. The closer you bring the building, coming and going in and out of that parking lot, you're not gonna see the traffic coming around the corner. We're trying to make it a safe entrance and exit for vehicles.
What's the distance back from the edge of the road it is proposed?
The building?
Yep. That big building on the lower right.
I think like this point is about 30 feet. This would be more about like 50 feet. Yeah. So about 30 feet there, 50 feet there.
Okay. In general, I like the idea, I like the mixed-use concept a lot. I'd just like to see fewer cars. When you come around the corner, I'm gonna just look at 18 cars driveway, then 11 more cars. It ain't pretty.
We'll see what we can do. We really, we obviously, you know, as you said, parking is essential in order to have this mixed-use site function and continue to draw people year in and year out. But I think the idea of moving the parking spaces as far back away as possible is a good one, and so we'll look at that, yeah.
Well, if we want to have a lot of cars there, obviously, but for business, it means it's good business. But if it becomes a real problem, it'll drive business away.
Right.
If people feel that they're very uncomfortable going there because of the parking situation, they'll go somewhere else.
Exactly.
So I'm sure that you guys will look at that and figure that all out.
Yeah, I think Chris and Jen are very sensitive to that. That, you know, you have some clients who say they see what the state's doing with residential parking and they just want to jump all over it and only provide the one space per unit. And Chris and Jen are aware that, you know, just because that's what the law allows, that may not work. And so, yeah.
Yeah, probably not if you have friends.
Right.
Especially if you have a boat.
Yeah, right.
Tried to explain that.
I was gonna say, I appreciate the fact, myself, with parking out front, if it's going to be businesses on the bottom, because you wanna make sure you have some direct entry, especially with ADA, if the businesses are gonna have the entrance from the front. That's just where I think about it. I know the setbacks are set by city and state and all of that, but I think that, no, I don't wanna see 100 cars. It's not like driving into Manchester Airport. But, you know, at least, it reminds me of when you go up Union Avenue where they have the little plaza after Dunks, you know, there's just a small area of parking in front, but there's still some green there. So,
Okay,
I know
yeah.
that that's a very small in comparison to your lot, but
no,
that's how I visualize, is like, you know, there's a couple parking spaces out front, that's how businesses show that they're busy, you know? You need to have some direct hits, but, and that's what I feel like with this. Maybe just flip them to the other side, closest to the building, if that's
And
what.
also depending what goes there, it'll be varying hours. It might just be the mornings or afternoons, you know, you don't really know yet what's gonna go in there.
No, nobody could hear what you said.
You didn't hear me again?
Well, we have an audience on screen,
Sorry.
on
I said it'll
YouTube.
also depend what businesses go into the retail space, what hours they're open, you know, how much the parking in the front would be used.
Thank you.
Sanborn's across the street with 800 cars.
David?
I have one comment, probably more of a question. And I know you said you were meeting with DES, I believe, on the docks. Does Bartlett Beach have a roped-off swim area?
They have a swim line.
And how close would that swim line come to where those docks are? That's one concern that I would have.
Oh, yeah, it's over.
Not very close, not very close.
I think it's about, it's a good question.
Yeah.
I got a question on snow removal.
Hmm.
It's a tough lot to, it's a lot of plowing, and where are you gonna put it?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are, I don't know the answer to that. You know, again, we believe it's important that we collaborate with you early on. So the negative of that is we're not going to have every single, you know, design aspect worked out. I do think, though, if indeed the business is, if things slow down in the wintertime, it may be possible to load some snow in existing parking area, kind of like they do, you know, at Shaw's and things like that. Or
Hopefully not,
Walmart.
if you're busy, hopefully not. So
Well,
let's
right.
pretend that you're really busy.
Yeah, well, then we need to put, I think we need to design snow storage areas that,
Yeah,
So,
so if you don't,
Yeah.
if you don't mind me interjecting, actually, usually as part of the standard conditions we have when items go to planning board, there is a condition there for snow removal, that snow storage is displayed on their site plan, but once they achieve that maximum, they need to make sure that all the available parking spaces are still utilizable and that the drainage can still function. So that's a standard condition that we usually have on everything, so that'll be reviewed when it goes to TRC, and I'm sure the applicant is
Okay.
gonna really wanna maximize that as well.
So-
Limited with the brook.
Yeah.
You can't push anything
Yep.
on that side of the lot because of the brook. So-
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of these things, well, I mean, they'll get flushed out when it goes to TRC as well.
Just
Yeah.
something to think about.
No, it's a good, thank you, yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, please, Mayor.
Yes, Mr.
I wanted to come back to the lighting on the WOW Trail. I'm sure you know from the previous owners, there were issues back there. And I think having proper lighting and proper ways to make sure you don't have unwanted guests, which I know was an issue for the previous owners. So I would make sure that that is a focus of your project.
We'd love to light the trail up.
What was that?
He said, we'd love to light the trail up.
Okay, thank you.
But we are very passionate about landscaping and lighting and all of that, so when we get to that level, you'll see that.
We also do have a very stringent lighting requirement outlined in the site plan subdivision regulations that they'll also have to adhere to.
But not to light up the WOW Trail.
For their lot, they'll have to abide by
Downcast lighting.
our lighting requirements.
Wait, I got to light up the trail?
Well,
For their project, they're gonna have to abide by the lighting regulations that we have adopted in the site plan review regulations.
Is that to light up the trail at night?
They don't own the trail.
Right, so that's what I'm asking you. Do they need to have to light up that trail at night? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not saying that at all.
All right, that's what
I'm
I
just saying
wanted
that
to
they're
be
gonna
clear
have to
about.
abide by our
Okay,
requirements.
because somebody had said about lighting it up, I think the counselor said that, about lighting it up the trail to try to keep some of the issues that have been
And
happening back there.
that's something we, separately from this, is something we are gonna pursue.
And that may
Cleaning
be
up
worth working
pathway,
with
so
the
if we do
WOW
have people parking,
Association
they're
on,
comfortable walking on the trail.
Okay,
on doing that.
but we're not, but that's what I'm asking. So the city is not requiring to light that up? That's what I'm asking.
No, and in fact, I just wanna also, we are a dark sky compliant community. and it's outlined in our site plan review regulations that we remain dark sky compliant. Because
Okay.
we're trying to protect ourselves from the light pollution. I think a good example of that is when you drive down 106, and there's a project down there that lights up the entire sky. We do not want that to be Laconia. We want to preserve.
Absolutely. Okay.
And I think we look forward to working with the WOW Trail to talk about how we can enhance our sort of part of the trail, or, you know, the part of the trail that's in our backyard, and almost like, you know, Jen said, almost like, you know, you see along highways, adopt a mile or something. We'd love to sort of participate in the upkeep and enhancement of our section of the trail, or the section of the trail that is in our area. That's a good
Okay.
idea.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Doreen.
And forgive me if this is what you had asked before about green space, but I could be wrong. In the conception plan, you're referencing the 10% minimum green area, but and correct me as well, with the urban commercial, is it 20% minimum?
So there's an inconsistency in the zoning ordinance. So on the table, it says one thing, and in the zoning ordinance, it says another. And so I think the actual requirement is the 10% as opposed to what it shows in the table.
Okay.
Yeah, that comes from lots of Band-Aids on the zoning ordinance, and mistakes happen, so.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because, and then the other question I had was regarding the trails, and I know that that's where the connectors and stuff, I think it becomes more of like access for buffers and all of that. The trail connection though, pedestrian circulation, hold on.
Oh, yes, I think you're referring to the criteria outlined in, is it 21.1 for the performance zoning criteria?
Mhm.
That they're, yes.
Yes, the, I don't have it right in front of me, 21.
Actually, Tyler's got it right up. I just want to give those a read through, Tyler.
The entire criteria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, you don't have to if you don't want to. but-
No, no.
Since you already got it up.
Is there a
Cliff
specific
notes
section?
are fine.
Yeah, so basically it just has to be a well-planned development, includes a mixture of land uses, which they have, you know, residential,
Right.
retail, all that good stuff. Mitigating negative impacts on traffic and public utilities, municipal services, and natural resources. They are also supposed to be reducing the number of access points on the main road there. Providing transitions between the existing and proposed uses, and to kind of protect the residential abutters.
That was it, the residential abutters, is what I
Yeah.
was looking at.
Providing high-quality site planning and architectural, landscaping, and signage designs. They'll have to meet the site plan review regulations for that. Minimizing views of large parking lots where they can, which you guys did mention you would like to see that. As we also mentioned too, there's that safety aspect, so there's gonna be a balancing act there, right? And then creating the pedestrian and vehicular links to abutting parcels, which I think that they achieve for sure with, I think having the boat access is a unique one, but also having the WOW Trail as well.
Yeah, I think
And then-
incorporating that WOW Trail is really a great amenity.
Yeah. And then the last one is establishing some open space and pedestrian amenities, wide sidewalks, stuff like that, so, which they're currently looking at doing, so.
Mike had a question, go ahead.
I don't, there's no residential abutters to that property, are there, other than possibly the Keyser Court entrance area?
Correct, Keyser Court.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, this has been very helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Do you feel like you got all the feedback before you leave, like, that you wanted from the board? You're happy with everything you've gotten?
Yeah, definitely. You know, and again, we thank staff for giving us a lot of information. You know, a lot of our questions have been answered in the meetings we've had with you, you know, regarding exactly what applications we'll be filing, potentially a conditional use permit application along with site plan review. But no, I think the board's feedback has been very helpful. It's an encouraging discussion, and I think, again, we'll take our notes from this and come back to you hopefully soon as I can get my guys to pull everything together, so, yeah.
Come out for a snow plan.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, have a good night.
Off-site.
We have it already.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to 18, the Planning Department Monthly Report.
So I'll just take it right from the top. So we got our estimate in for the lighting project downtown, which City Council had asked us to move forward on. That I'm going to present to City Council with my budget report. Kirk has also asked me to do the TIF districts with the planning department, so when I do my budget presentation, I think it's on May 18th, I'll go over the 3 TIFs budgets. But just to give you a highlight on that, the lighting for the parking, the municipal lot, all the way down to Rotary Park was $414,000 and some change. So it was quite expensive, but I think that achieves the goals of what City Council wanted to do to kind of mitigate some of the night issues that happen down there with having appropriate lighting. We did reach out and get a quote back for the engineering study for the bandstand that the Weirs TIF had proposed, that for just the study alone and to determine what permits are required in the design for the bandstand comes in at $34,300. So Weirs TIF
Say
is
that again, how much?
$34,300.
34,000.
34,000.
Yep, $34,000. So Weirs TIF will, that'll go to their next agenda for them to vote on. It'll also be presented to City Council with the planning department's budget. No updates for the Lakeport TIF, no updates for the state school. We had no admin reviews this month. TRC was pretty much what you saw here tonight, with the exception of one application for Endicott Street North for watercraft storage, which will come before you next month. We had our first master plan forum this last week. We had about 20 residents show up to it.
That's a lot.
So I thought that was really good. At first, it was very quiet, but people did start to engage and ask some questions, so I think we got some good feedback. Yeah. The next morning, we had 70 submissions online, so I think that was really good.
And then as of today, we have 120 submissions online.
When you say
And-
submissions, you mean suggestions or
Yep.
questions?
Yep,
Yeah,
so people
so-
can submit what their thoughts are, proposed changes, all that stuff right online, and it goes right to the contractor. And it will all be incorporated into the final master plan. So I'm really excited about it. You'll see all the feedback.
And are these people, do they leave their addresses so we know where they live?
No,
No.
because.
That's too bad. At least say if they're Laconia, because
They're-
what do we care if somebody
so-
from,
So to point that out, we have to be careful with First Amendment rights and protecting people's speech, so if they want to participate, they're allowed to. With that said, we do gather demographic information saying, I live in Laconia, I work in Laconia, I visit Laconia, so that information is
I
captured.
visit Laconia, okay.
So there is a sheet
Yes.
that is passed out to everybody that comes in, and
As long
part
as
of,
they have some connection with the city. I mean,
Yes.
you know, we could have somebody putting in something that has absolutely
are
nothing to do with it.
After
collecting.
their IP address?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
course.
No, definitely
Of
not.
course.
Yeah, the planning department's own mini
but-
IT security is hard at work.
Yeah, if I also may jump onto that too, we have 120 submissions right now. This is going to be open at least through the end of May. If we keep getting a lot of responses, even at that point, we might even extend it a little bit more to keep getting those responses. On top of that, there is a photo contest as well, because we want people to submit pictures of Laconia so we can use them and showcase Laconia. We currently have 10 submissions for that, so feel free.
Photo contest?
Did you
Yep.
get my picture?
So you take,
I don't know.
you take pictures of
Charlie?
something in the
So,
city and.
yep, there's requirements on there. If you go to the planning
No, no,
department's
no, you-
website,
yeah,
it does say, kind of what we're looking for, built environment, a neighborhood, the natural environment, stuff like that. You submit it, there's some information you'll submit along with it, but,
So commentary with the picture.
yeah, basically explaining what it's of and.
And these pictures will be hopefully incorporated into the master plan as, things that you want to save, things that you like, the direction you want the city to go in. So it's all very good input.
Have you reviewed the submissions yet? Are there any trends that are emerging?
We have not looked at the data yet, so all of the data will be compiled and it will be presented to the master plan steering committee on June 25th. So we should have all of that data. I'm very excited. I think that as I walked around and listened to people, there's a lot of feedback in a lot of different directions. So I think that we'll have a really good product at the end.
And what I really liked about this too was that there's gonna be a report with all of the comments that are made. You're not gonna know who's making what comments, but you'll have all the comments there. And then we'll do like an executive summary for the master plan steering committee as well, but we'll have it all. So,
Okay. Anything else?
Do you
Rob?
wanna put the dates out for the next two meetings?
Oh, yes, so the next meeting is, actually, it is Thursday, May 7th, at the Weirs Community Center from 4 to 6 p.m. And then the next meeting will be May 14th at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Levitt Park House.
Yep.
So,
And just to kind of set the stage for what these meetings are like real quick, there's not really a presentation. There's going to be stations set up. It's kind of a walkthrough, right? You're going to come in, you know, there'll be staff members there, there'll be the consultants there, there'll be members. I'm sure we've seen some planning board members and members of other boards at this first one. I'm sure there'll be more at the next ones. And so we do encourage you all to come out as well, chat with the public, and also make your opinions known too. But it's basically going to be set up in 4 different stations around the room. There's going to be the welcome station when you come in, kind of explain how it's going to work. When you get there, first station will be more of the existing conditions of what we discovered about Laconia as is. Then we're going to kind of delve into some of the topics specifically for housing, transportation, economic development, stuff like that. Try to get people's opinions on each specific item. And then I believe the last station is more the vision. What is your overall vision for the city? Because that's going to be very important for the master plan committee as well. So,
oh, it is very exciting. And, you know, hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have a great master plan that was done the right way with all the public comment.
Yep.
And hopefully, you know, that helps us move forward to, do we want to do a complete rewrite of the zoning ordinance to capture all of these changes in the direction everybody wants to go in? And really, you know.
and address some of those green space and
Yeah,
other
and
questions.
fix some of the Band-Aids that the last 40 years has done
Yeah.
to the zoning ordinance, so.
Okay, that it?
Sure, I guess. I can, that's, yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
We don't have to make up stuff.
Refreshments Thursday night?
It is BYOB.
They had refreshments.
You guys ruined it with
Yeah.
cookies at the
Hey.
one. and-
Oh, right.
Hey, my budget's pretty wee.
There were no cookies at the library.
All right, let's move along here. We're never gonna get out of here. Do we have any minutes from
I
the
look
technical
hungry.
review committee meeting?
Yes.
Yes, but we just
provided
provide those just for you to look at, just
Okay.
for, so you know what we reviewed at
So
this last
everybody's
year.
all set with that?
That's very helpful, by the way.
Yep, and, you know, we just want to make sure that you all are seeing what all the department heads are saying when it comes through the whole process.
That's great information.
It is.
Okay, liaison reports. Councilor Conant, anything?
Yeah,
from
I
the
just
city?
wanted to comment that the code enforcement department has been proactive in cleaning up our neighborhoods, trying to get some pride involved. It's one of the goals we established at our council meeting for goals for us as a council in general. And I've worked with Rob on a couple of different locations that have had very favorable results in cleaning up at least Ward 6. And I think the more they can be proactive as opposed to reactive with folks complaining about issues really helps. And they've stepped up and done that, and it's very much appreciated.
Okay, anything else?
That's all.
Okay. Lakes Region Planning Commission?
I believe our next meeting is going to be in a couple weeks.
I think so, can't remember. Sounds right.
Yeah.
Do you have an executive meeting next Wednesday?
I do have an executive meeting next Wednesday, yeah. But as of this point, I believe last time we talked about, I think it was DES requirements for watershed. I know that they're working on their annual meeting right now, which will be in June. And there's also some discussion about trying to use some of the brownfield funding that they have for redevelopment and reuse. So it's one of the conversations we're having with them to identify locations throughout the city for potential reuse and cleanup.
So, interestingly enough, talking about brownfields, Tyler and I went to a HUD conference the other day down in Manchester.
Yeah.
And what was very apparent as we listened to the state and the federal government talk about brownfields and how they go about the whole environmental mitigation of all these sites, there's a complete and utter disconnect between those two entities and local municipalities.
I'm stunned.
Yeah.
It is shockingly disturbing, and when they were asked about that, they had absolutely zero answer, and they said, it's not our problem. We just hope that people know before they buy a property that they did a phase one, because if not, then they are truly
Well,
up a creek.
If you watch some of the sessions in Concord, you can, with some of the bills that are introduced, you can see that disconnect between local municipalities or towns and things that the legislators do down there, quite often.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, if you don't mind, I would also like to, we have obviously a lot of things going on in Laconia, and we're working on a lot of things, such as a master plan, and we've done a lot of studies, and we've done a lot of ordinance changes in the last year. So much that we were recognized by New Hampshire Planners Association. And they are doing their annual spring conference here in Laconia to kind of look at everything that's been going on, and they asked Tyler and I to come be guest speakers for them and go over some of the projects that we've helped move through. So that is
And they'll be hosting
Thursday.
it here.
Congratulations.
That sounds
And,
like an extra thing. Maybe you'll get a stipend from the city.
Probably not. But I think it's a great highlight to the city of Laconia.
Yes.
That the city has been recognized statewide, that we've got a lot of great things going on.
Good.
So,
Fantastic.
All right, so, nothing on the Historical District Commission, we just did so on other business, before we get to the election of officers, and I believe we're just doing the vice chair tonight?
Vice chair and
And
secretary.
secretary. Some of you will notice that Mike Delvecchia is not here, and I just want to go on public and saying that Mike was here a long time, and he did a good job. Some people agreed with him, some people didn't, but he was here a long time. I'm not sure how many years, because I never really paid attention. I don't know how many years I've been here, but he was here a good 5 or 6 anyway, I think.
Well,
More than that, yeah. See, so I don't remember. So I want to thank him for that on behalf of everybody. And while I've got Mike in my mind, did we get anything back from, on Irwin Motors on the lack of those trees there on Union Avenue that you guys were going to look into?
I have not yet, but we will re-engage with them and see where we are on that one.
Some of you remember what that is. Those were trees that were
Yep.
taken down.
That was,
Took the building down.
when they, I think there's also, when they redeveloped those parking lots over there, they
Well, the trees were there. I think those disappeared.
They didn't want to do the trees, they wanted to do, I think, I can't
Well, they
remember
were like
the shrubs that they wanted to do.
But the
So,
shrubs are gone now.
Yeah, they get
that-
killed by salt.
Well, whatever, they're gone, so
So, we'll,
we'll do something with that.
we'll engage,
Yeah, we'll
we've
reach
got
out
a
to 'em.
good rapport
Because
with,
that was a condition.
with them, we'll,
You
we'll
do, I
address.
know you do, so thank you. Okay, so now we have two positions open, the vice chair and the secretary. So I guess we'll do the secretary first. Is there anybody
And,
here?
Mr. Chair, if I
Yeah,
can
go
just
ahead.
make a point on that. So this is just to fill in until July, so basically there's one meeting left. And then July, we'll do full elections again, so this is just a
Right.
temporary.
Right, thank you for reminding me of that. So is there somebody that would like to be the secretary, or would somebody like to nominate somebody to be secretary? Don't everybody jump up at once.
So the role of the secretary, it's kind of a holdover from the old days before planning boards had staff. Yeah, and the secretary's job was to take the minutes. Nowadays, it's just to fill in if both the chair and the vice chair are not present.
Right,
I'll volunteer to be secretary then.
Just so he's not vice
for
chair.
1 month. Okay, all right, so Mike is volunteering to do that. Anybody else?
That's scary.
Who, me or Mike?
I'm sorry, Gary is.
Mike's on your left.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I know.
I'm an alternate.
So,
Can't hold the position.
is there anybody else that would like to jump into that?
Please.
All right, we don't need to vote for that, do we? Okay, so, all right, all in favor, raise your hands.
Of Gary being
For Gary to
secretary.
be secretary? Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, that was unanimous.
Okay, so now we need to have somebody be the vice chair for 1 month until the next time around. Anybody want to jump into that?
Mr. Willett.
Or-
I second.
No, we gotta have somebody say they want to do it before we get, so that's,
Oh, they can.
He's nodding, I
I'm
can
not
see his
gonna
head
say
moving.
no. I'll step up to the plate.
okay, so you're in favor of that? Okay,
right.
anybody else? Anybody else?
1 month.
Okay, all in favor of Dave? Okay,
By the way, do we just get pro rata
I got-
stipend for that?
I got some.
Yes, it's a 100% increase
I
in
got some
pay.
bottles of cans in my
Get
car.
1/12 of the normal annual. Okay.
All right, so that's done. Anything else, everybody?
That motion, Rich?
No.
Question, but I think I can ask that off the record, right?
No,
Gary made the
Gary
motion.
motion.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? We're getting a little bit late tonight. Okay, all in favor of adjournment?
We used to have meetings that went to 11.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we're done. All right, thank you all very much.
Really well tonight. I thought it was pretty smooth.
I have a question. On the reading of the staff report?
Yeah.
Is that required?
Years ago,
Yeah, well, we,